Well, well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. Welcome live on this Saturday morning, April 15th, normally tax day. That's right. That's why the dog is screaming. It is April 15th, the Ides of Tax. Except because it's a Saturday, technically, I think they made the 18th the day. So, if you're grumbling about the IRS and all the stuff you had to do, put it away for 2-3 hours because it's just going to be not about that. This is Dave's Gone By. This is the place where it's the foreign legion of podcasts. It's kind of like, we don't know what the hell we're doing here. And I've been doing this for more than 20 years. Still have no idea what the show is technically about. I think it's about humor and talk and culture sometimes and fun, just fun, just blowing off steam every Saturday morning from 9-ish until noon-ish. Sometimes we have our friend Pooey. Sometimes we have, in more recent times, our screaming goat, in which we show him. Oh, he's in the drawer cabinet. Slidey thing. That's screaming goat. He's new. Pooey's kind of old. Where did we see Pooey in another circumstance? There was somebody being interviewed in a documentary we were watching.
Yes.
And he had the whole game.
I think it was a guy who he was a singer who had, I think, autism or Tourette's. He rose to fame, but we didn't.
Yes.
I don't remember the full. Was it Netflix?
We didn't watch the whole movie because we didn't want to see a documentary about a guy with. Well, I don't have my phone.
Netflix.
But yeah, in the background while they're interviewing him, and it's going to be this sad documentary about how he overcame having serious autism, all these things.
Famous musician.
Not to me, but yeah, I never heard of Sparks until we saw that documentary. But behind him, you see sitting in the toilet, Pooey, because he actually came from a game, probably from Parker Brothers or one of those manufacturers, where you put the poo in the back of the toilet. I'm not kidding. Put the poo in the back of the toilet, and then everybody, this was pre-pandemic, you rush to the toilet and try to grab him as he pops out.
Flush, and then it's random.
Oh, is it? Yes.
So you don't know when he's going to pop up. So you get like a card. It says 3 flushes or whatever. And maybe nothing, and then
Right.
Someone gets one and they flush.
And whoever grabs the poo,
I think you win.
it comes up. Yes, this is the America we live in, ladies and gentlemen, and thank God for it. But it was so great to see because it was the actual same Pooey from the game.
Well, maybe it was another copy. It wasn't this one.
Oh, you don't think it was?
No, it was another one.
Here's his autograph. I have his autograph right here. Oh no, that might be a cancerous lesion. I'm not sure what that is. Well, the corn got blackened then. Maybe it was Mexican style.
Ew, what is that?
I don't know what that is. Pooey has a blemish. We have to get him biopsied.
Oh, he's got stuff on the front too.
Oh, really?
You drawing him with a permanent marker?
No. What? I have time in my day to sit there and draw on a piece of fake poo.
Whatever it is, it's coming off.
Oh, good.
I think it's gum.
Gum?
Yeah, it's all in the back too. He needs to be washed.
Pooey should not be chewing gum. It's
No,
bad
I
for
think
his.
you must have had him in a drawer with old gum or your knapsack.
Oh,
or
maybe.
something.
Oh.
I think he
What
was.
was in my knapsack? Have I been?
I can wash him with soap and water later.
Ew, soap. Soap is the enemy of feces. You know this. I told you Dave's Gone By makes sense. Anyway, I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That's my darling and amazing wife, Joyce. We are here live on this Saturday, April 15th, 2023, for the 890th episode of this program. Wow.
It's amazing.
I mean, 20 and a half years at this point. Have been doing this almost, there were times when I took breaks and had a month or two off, or when I was on college radio and the radio station was closed, I kind of had a month or two to myself. But for whatever reason, we keep doing these. I think I told you the reasons before, because I'd probably explode if I didn't.
It figured the type of show, it's changed over time.
Oh, well,
Began as a radio show and then morphed into log and blog and
And now,
interview,
yeah, it's still kind of a radio show.
game
It's-
shows new.
Yeah, I mean, I put visuals and I talk to the camera instead of the mic, but I still feel it's like a mic. I still feel it's like, I'm talking to you and to you and to, not to you, I'm not talking to you, but to most of the people out there, just kind of talking, having fun, making jokes, making puns, making funny noises in the background. And we'll be doing that today as well on our episode, which is called Just Plain Folk. And I picked this title before we even had a guest. And we do have guests this week in the Daverhood. And this is extraordinary. This is quite amazing. This is about 3 weeks ago. I went and digitally via Zoom took part in one of those things that I've told you about several times, where twice a year, this company does a meet and greet for people in the media to meet people who want to get on the media. So you get people on radio and writing for magazines and on television representing big and small television and radio programs. And so, they need content, they need guests, they need ideas. And then there's a whole bunch of people who've written books or who have new albums out or have ideas or have stories they want to tell or things they want to sell.
What do most of the people have? Like, what is when you hear the pitches, is it mostly books or what is the most
I would
common?
say mostly it's books, even if it's a book about a story that they really want to tell, or they want their services out there, so they've written a book about what they
But
do.
it's mostly book, like they've read a book and they want to proselytize that book.
Yeah, they want to get on media to sell copies, or at the very least, to talk about the book they've written and, hey, I'm a consultant, use me.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I
sure.
hear you.
So I go to these things. It's the National Publicity Summit is what they call it, put out by Bradley Communications. I've known Bradley now for almost 2 decades. So and I was going there when the show was still on terrestrial radio, and they still have me. They still have me visit there as media, because sometimes when I get a special person there, I will put them on the show. Mostly it's because I'm looking for strange and unusual, or I'll get people who are in film and media and music, and I gravitate towards that, or theater. But every once in a while, it's just something serendipitous happens. Like last week or two, I think it was last week, we had Pitts Quattrone, the didgeridoo master and maker.
He was cool.
I would never have known about this man, except he came to the summit because he does all this work making didgeridoos for people. How do you get word out about it? You can take out thousands of dollars in advertising, or you pay a couple of grand, you become part of this summit, you learn how to pitch.
And you go on social media.
Yeah. And you end up meeting at like 150, pitching them in one weekend.
That's crazy. That's intense.
Yeah. Oh, very intense. It's a thing. So I was one of the people that got pitched, and I was like, you saw him last week, his personality and the fact that he teaches how to play.
He makes them.
The didgeridoo. They're beautiful. For like $400, you get yourself a didgeridoo. It's gorgeous, right? So had him on the show. It was fantastic. But he was one of the people that I've gotten from this publicity summit.
Yes.
And that was exciting to meet Pitts Quattrone at the summit. I mean, it was by a Zoom, but to see him with these instruments and of course I forced him to play one. I was like blowing my mind. And yet, the most thrilling and exciting moment
Oh, somebody's excited.
of the publicity summit. He's right there. The thing that literally.
He's still getting ready.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It was one of those serendipitous things because I was connecting with these people, and I was in this Zoom thing for like 2.5 hours. And every once in a while, Joyce would pop in to see if I needed tea or if my throat was going or if everything was okay. And literally, one of the moments that she was walking in the door, and I was Zooming with people, a guy comes on, and behind him is an image, because he's got a green screen. What do they call it?
It's the image that just a
backdrop.
background. Yeah.
Yeah.
Background. But you have that as your posted that on social media.
After, because I'm like, wait a minute. Literally, he comes on, and behind him is this black and white image.
And everybody in our house was screaming.
Yes, me too. Well, I remember, include everyone in the house.
Yeah.
Of a 1950s or Ida potato truck. Now, if you've watched this show, or if you've even listened to this show from the beginning, you know how important emotionally, psychologically, sexually, potatoes are to this program. You know that the potato is the mascot. You know that the potato, the glorious golden potato. This particular kind of potato is kind of what our shaman. He is our mascot. He is our god. Is well, I'm
I think
pushing.
they're good friends or companions.
Potato. I've told the potato story before. I will tell an extremely brief version. Just that when I had a hernia many years ago, like 25 years ago, I had a bad hernia, was recuperating. Joyce, my wife, and her mom, who had been a nurse, were looking after me a bit. They needed to get out of the house to get away from me. They go shopping and they find among the things that they're looking for in a bin for, what was it, 69 cents or 99 cents?
It was 69.
69 cents, 69, perfect number anyway. 69 cents, they find a bin of these knockoff Mr. Potato Head style potatoes.
I think it encourages kids to eat vegetables, but then he's like starved. So.
Yeah, and he's also missing his hat. This one doesn't have a hat. He's our most recent. Anyway, so they get me one just as a joke, just to make me feel better during my hernia. And I know this is cute, you know, that's very cute. And then we have to get two because married couple.
You said that.
All right, I say we have to get two because married couples have two of everything. That's the way. We two towels, two this, two that. We're going to get another one, and then we go and get a couple
then you
more.
went crazy. You saw people with them in the cart, and you're like, "We have to stop the diaspora of potatoes."
Yes.
And you wanted to steal it from people's carts, which you can't.
I did not. I did not.
You would have.
I would have bid. I would $2. It would have been worth it. I was like, you know, so you want to pay 69 cents for that? I'll give you $2. Give it back to me, right?
Yeah, but they didn't even purchase it yet.
So, but it morphed into a thing of ultimately buying as many potatoes as. There's more to the story. I'll tell it another time again. But getting as many potatoes as possible. And over the years, I've amassed and collected what were once 69 cents potatoes. If you go on eBay, they're now like $30 to $35 each.
That's ridiculous.
Most of them. And because I swear to you.
You have increased the.
Yeah, because they call them rare. And the only reason they're rare is because I bought 400 of them. Yeah, they weren't rare. There were other vegetables in the set. You can get broccoli.
The other vegetables are like 2 cents.
Yeah, but these are $30 now because they know some idiot has bought most of them. Not really. I'm sure they've manufactured like 10,000 at some point, but they're quote unquote rare. When I see one that's still under $20, I can't help myself. Like, I need one, but I'm not 30. I don't spend 30, my dear. I know we have a mortgage, but under 20.
So you just probably spend 50.
I can just see eBay right now, like everybody tuning in. They're like, oh, I'm going to mark this one 1997.
I know, 1999.
Yeah, well, but also it has to include tax.
And shipping.
Yeah. So yeah, free shipping. The whole total has to be below 20. Anyway, so I've got these potatoes, and they became kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would bring them to work. I bring batches and bunches of them to work. I would have bunches of them in every room of the house. It just became not even so much for me. It was the joke of anybody coming to me, seeing this.
Back in potatoes that you had at work in New York.
I'm not going to ship them back. When I'm in New York, I'll go see them in June. I left like 90 potatoes in the school district.
We had those pictures too on your phone.
Thank God. I proof they're mine.
Oh, David, I'm sure nobody.
Yeah.
Well,
it's paid through.
Some of your coworkers were bald, and they did resemble the potato.
True.
Like,
but also now they're going to have starting next semester, like special ed kids coming in there. So if you like a special ed kid near.
Love those potatoes.
Oh, that's why it's K through 6.
Have they put them in some kind of vault?
They said they're in a bin because I don't want any children, especially the special ed, like, potato.
The special ed could be gifted. You just.
Yeah, I know. It's special ed being something different from like the cartoon, the puppet character.
What are you gonna do? What do you mean in a bin?
Yeah, they used to be all over the
Really
room.
good, yes.
And then they had to, for whatever reason, because they got a new superintendent or whatever they have over there. And then they got more people coming in and things have been changing. So they had to take everything kind of down and put them in a bin, whoopee. So they're being fed.
Oh, good.
They're getting the ketchup that they need and the butter on the holidays.
Good.
But it's still, they're not being displayed. They're not being loved up every
Well,
moment.
maybe that's good.
I got no work done when I worked there. I was literally just caring for potatoes. So how do we get into? Oh, so when I see, so I'm on this Zoom call with all these people pitching me from this publicity summit. And they're like, oh, please have me on. I wrote this book, or please have me on. I survived this, or here's 10 steps to make yourself financially solvent and all the usual things. And then suddenly there's a guy. Yeah. Suddenly there's a guy with an Origa potato truck behind him. And I was like, literally, I went, ah! Joyce was at the door. She went, ah! I screaming, you would go get a potato to show this person why I was losing my shit. Because there are also, there are people from the summit who are in the room, like making sure everything's going okay. People, so they've got to make sure they run a tight ship. And suddenly they're like, they know I'm nuts anyway. And suddenly I'm screaming potato, potato, potato.
Yeah, but you do that often.
Yeah. And then I had to explain to the guy, it's not about you, sir, although it will be about him. But potatoes are this incredibly important item in my life and have been for 20 years.
If his background, backdrop is a potato truck, it's probably very important to him. That's what I would think.
Very well, important to his family. Here's the deal. I asked, why do you have a potato truck, an Origa potato truck as your back? What on earth? What? And he said, well, my family, what do we call the scion?
I think they were the tater tots.
The man who created Origa and created the tater tot, invented the tater tot.
To put scraps of potatoes together,
Is he the grandfather or his father?
Wow.
The guy's name was Nephi Grigg.
Oh.
There's actually a picture of him on
Nephi?
my Facebook feed. Nephi. It's a Mormon. It's a name out of the Book of Mormon. The family is so. Nephi Grigg, and we can hear the story. We can hear the story of the invention of the tater tot by Nephi Grigg.
Wow.
Not that long ago. We're talking about like 1950s, so that's why it could be a father. I believe it was.
Was it recycling a stray part?
Exactly. It's like when you were mentioning when Dunkin' Donuts.
Hole. Yeah. I think you say
it's like that. Well, it's very hard to recycle holes.
Like donut. Well, dough comes out of the donut hole. What are you going to do? You're going to make munchkin.
Right. And instead of throwing out thousands of pounds and dollars in dough,
which is probably very tasty.
It's the same donut. It's still the same thing. So why not take them, make them the munchkins, and use it, sell it instead of vacating it, right? So think about all the stuff, the peel, the this and that doesn't go into a potato, into a French fry.
Yeah.
Or a baked potato or whatever else they put in Origa bags. And the guy's like, these are really good if we scrape them and fry them up and turn them into some sort of compote and put it in the fryer. Really good. And they sold them, and tater tot became like even more than the fries.
Children love that. Kids love it.
Everybody, they're not healthy. That's fried version and with salt and whatever diglycerides. But, by the way, I can say this because the family has no connection at this point to Origa.
So did they sell the tater tot recipe?
They sold the whole company in 1965. So it's been more than 50 years. However, still, these are the children.
Wow.
We have Leslie and Steve.
Well, the inventor. That's the creator of a tater tot.
The man who invented his tots. 2 of his real live tots.
Does he think that
will be here?
Is it meaning that they think the tater tot is from a baby from a potato?
I don't know what tot, maybe little baby, like when you said tot,
They know they may not know, but
I mean, it's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. So 2 children of the man, 2 grown
Are
tots.
you crying?
No, yeah, kind of, yeah. Also blowing my nose while crying, which really opens up the sinuses. The children of the man who founded Ore-Ida are here. Now, there is a mixed feeling here because Ore-Ida, he doesn't take spuds and put them in a museum quality wall display like I do.
But the tater tots are made of tofu, know that.
That's right.
Maybe a sweet potato.
This is what we tell potato. That actual tater tots and French fries are made of tofu, or sometimes seitan.
Yes, or
Yeah.
sometimes sweet potato, which they don't care.
Yeah. And how do you tell, by the way, if something is a sweet potato?
I don't know.
You ask it and you say, "Are you a sweet potato?" And it would say, "Yes, I am." Yam. Even though sweet potatoes are not actually technically yams, they're different. Every time I tell that joke, some know-it-all tells me, no, it's not really. And I say, shut the hell up, it's my joke. Yeah, do it. Yeah. So that's Dave's Gone By, at least the first part of Dave's Gone
They'll be
By.
joining you, what's today?
Descendants, it's April 15th,
No, I mean, that's the time you said.
9:30, in just about 10 minutes, we'll be joined by descendants of the Ore-Ida dynasty.
Like, remember the one guy my community partner when we were in Colorado, the chef, his family vanilla ice cream recipe was sent to Kroger. They bought the recipe,
Right.
And he was explaining, because he said, I'm making this ice cream and I have permission. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, it's a proprietary whatever. And I couldn't understand. He said, oh, it was my family's recipe, but they sold it to
Kroger, yeah.
I guess that was then became their store brand. I was like, wow, like how do you do that?
Well, I also, do you really need a recipe, a new rep for vanilla ice cream?
Remember, it was delicious.
Yeah, well.
That chef.
And actually, we're going to talk much more about Joyce and my trip because we went away for the last couple of days. Where in a couple of minutes we will have the Griggs here in the Daverhood. They've just tried to log on, so we're going to give a couple of minutes. They were a little early, which is so much better than late.
Tap them in the waiting room. Just
how do I can't. It's just I can do view.
let me show you. Hold on.
I'm viewing them and then
I'm going to message.
oh, message.
Yeah, and just say
5 minutes.
yeah.
There we go.
See, and then what I do, I learned that because
Yeah, how
you
do I
can
get
just stay there, just stay in the, just say hang tight in the waiting room.
Yeah, we're good. Okay,
Okay.
we're good.
So that way, I do that because I learned that when I work for that nonprofit, because sometimes people log in and they think, oh, I'm early, I'm late. It's always good to let people know that you see them.
Right,
And
yeah.
they're recognized, like we used to put a message saying, we know you're there in the waiting room, the class will begin shortly. I think that's good, I'm sorry.
No, I know I have Orthodox Jews in the waiting room.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I see them.
they were so sleep deprived.
That's comedy right there. So I'm not going to tell you anything else about our trip to Norfolk, Virginia until a little later in the show. But it's also interesting that you bring this up because I have a picture that I took of what they're claiming is the first ever soft serve ice cream machine thing from, I think it was like 1905 or 1925.
It's very hard to claim the first of stuff. That's like if people.
Well, they're saying, this is the first tater tots on the show coming.
Yeah.
And then literally, as I'm walking down Granby Street all the way down, there's
that picture where you took your picture of your thumb. You do what I do.
I know.
Selfies are hard. Like
Mhm.
we got to get you a selfie stick. Maybe we take this off and you use that.
Yes, it's tough because
Like
you're,
we'll give
yeah,
you, I'll take that off of your thing. You can hold that.
it would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because sometimes I'm trying to, that's not the one with, that was the thumb one, I think, is when I was in the Japanese or the Chinese garden. But I'm just walking along and you pass this place called Dalmer's, I think it is, which is one of those old fashioned, like
Ice cream
rib
parlor.
shake kind of places. And suddenly it says, literally out there, right to touch, you can see it, you can touch it, this wooden thing with knobs and tubes. And it's like, this was the first soft serve ice cream maker in America. I was like, okay, cool. And I didn't even try to take a selfie with it because I was trying to, I just said, let me just take a picture of it. And I did. If I get my phone, I'll share it later. But so yeah, Joyce and I are also going to talk about all the stuff we did in lovely, really lovely Norfolk, Virginia over the past couple of days when we were away. And we will have a Colorado Limerick of the damned. This is because Joyce and I, before visiting Norfolk, before going back to New York, before living in Colorado, we did live, but before all of this, we lived in Colorado, in northern Colorado. So we, I got it into my head, that's right, to write poems about as many different places in Colorado as I possibly could. So I've been doing these. I've got more than 250 of them at this point. I really do. And every week I share another one.
Do you want me to make you tea when I
Tea would be after we get the rabbi in here and we anoint him and ornament him and bedeck him with jewels. Then yes, I could definitely use a tea. But oh God, where was I?
I don't know, but you're about. You still in Colorado and
yes. So I started writing these poems, and now I share one with you every week called The Colorado Limerick of the Damned, mainly because a lot of them are very dirty and vulgar, as limerick should be. Today, we're going to Avondale, Avondale, Colorado. Somehow I found 3 rhymes or near rhymes for the town of Avondale.
Does one have the word snail?
No.
Or kale? Or bale?
No.
Or rail?
Hey, where the hell are they?
Or sail?
That one's in there. That one's in there. So yes, we have a poem, a silly, disgusting poem about Avondale, Colorado, or Colorado Limerick of the damned. And speaking of Colorado, also, Joyce and I lived in Greeley, and we got the Greeley Tribune newspaper, and from it, we pluck items from 2 columns in their top log and 100 years ago and create Greeley Crimes and Old Times. That too will be on Dave's Gone By. So it's a fun morning on the show this April 15th. Just a reminder, for the archives of Dave's Gone By, go to davesgoneby.com, or you can see them and hear them at archive.org. We have a channel there. Archive.org, davesgoneby.com, or for just the audio archives, you can go at castbox.fm. It's all great ways to watch the same show, episodes going back all the way to our very first one from 2002. It's Dave's Gone By. Check it out. Now we're going to check out Rabbi Saul Solomon. He's the founder and spiritual leader, excuse me, of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And Rabbi Saul will be doing the honors, if that's the word, of talking to descendants of Ida, the man, Nephi Griggs, who founded Ida and created the tater tot. Let's bring Rabbi Saul in for this sacred, holy moment. Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am unbelievably thrilled to the point of overwhelmingness to be here on this Shabbos morning because we have guests in the Daverhood who are believers and lovers of the humble and beautiful potato. In fact, not only are we joined by Potato in the room with us today, we even have His Royal Highness, the Grand Kanish, is joining us, my friends. The Grand Kanish in all his beautiful glory is with us to celebrate the fact that we have two people. He just lost his crown. We'll deal with that later. But he is going to be, and I am really going to be talking to two people who are the descendants, who are the youngins, if you don't mind my saying, the tots of Mr. Tater Tot himself. Won't you please welcome to the Daverhood, Steve and Les. Is it Les or Leslie?
Les is fine.
Les is fine because less is more. You're Les?
I'm Les.
He's Les, and you are Steve Grigg, descendants of Nephi Grigg, who
Correct.
Tater Tot and Uriah Potato. Shalom and welcome to you both. How you doing?
Thank you. Doing well.
Thank you.
All right, if we talk all at once, we're going to have a problem here. But it's so fantastic. But so please, however you want to divide up, I'm sure you've told this story a million times. Make it 1,000,001. Your dad, Nephi Grigg, he founded Uriah.
My dad and his brother Golden founded Uriah. The backstory is they started growing sweet corn back in the 30s, and they would and that developed into they would then sell potatoes. They sold sweet corn to farmers.
No, it totally makes sense. So, yeah,
it doesn't make sense, but they were good at their job, and so I'm trying to figure out how to condense this enough so that I don't dominate the conversation.
Get to the potatoes.
They sold sweet corn, but sweet corn only the growing season for sweet corn is limited, and so they needed something else to sell.
Yes,
as Grigg brothers. What else was there? Potatoes.
Heroin? Oh no, the weather.
Could have been.
Could have been. Yes, but instead, yes,
they grew the humble potato, and don't you love it?
What year was this? When was this? When they made the switch, or they?
Oh, it was in the early 30s, 40s.
All right.
Uriah Foods that you see behind me there wasn't created until 1961. But up until then, they had many companies. Grigg Brothers.
Yeah.
Grigg Brothers Produce, Oregon Frozen Foods. My father was born in Nampa, Idaho, but small town.
Yeah.
He and his brother Golden were tight, those two. And they did everything together. In fact, my uncle Golden, they had a small farm in a community called Vale, Oregon. He stayed there, worked a little farm. My father went to a nearby sawmill, and they would share the profits of what they could produce 50-50. Very unusual, right? Usually somebody has a controlling interest.
So it wasn't even 51-49. It was 50-50.
50-50.
All right. Yeah.
That's how much they trusted each other. So they would pick the sweet corn at night, you see, pack it in cold water, and then the next day they would sell it on a horse and buggy. So as that grew, they needed a product to sell when the corn wasn't there. Corn wasn't on, so they had potatoes. The russet potato, get him, there he is. The russet potato, my father once proclaimed it as the perfect food because it had all these, the skin had all of these nutrients and where all the good stuff is in the peel. If you've ever baked a potato, the peel is the best part after you cover it in butter and salt it.
Yes, keep talking. I may have to change my underpants, but keep talking. Yes.
That's okay. I apologize for the excitement. So they produced corn. They did that year round by contracting with other farmers, but they needed something year round. So the potatoes came on, and they first started making French fries. That was their first product.
This makes sense.
So, yeah.
But would they use the peel in the fries? I always
No.
figured they threw away the peel. No, right, yeah.
They would peel the potatoes, of course, and blanch them, cook them. See, that kills off the enzymes. That's what makes potatoes and produce go off color, are the natural enzymes.
I thought they just used the F word.
No.
No, that's a different kind of off color day.
They could potatoes are round, French fries are square.
Yeah, well.
So now you have all those shavings left over, right?
Yes,
Correct?
yes.
And they would sell those shavings off to farmers to mix in their feed for their cattle.
All right, makes sense, yes.
And they just thought, that's good. That's good shade. That's good stuff. That's good. They were Depression age kids, post World War II kids. They did not want to waste anything, and so they.
I get it. Believe me, you're talking. I'm not Depression era or anything else, but if I can save a penny, oh please. Come on. So, but now they're giving the yuck from the potatoes to cows, essentially. The farmers with
Right.
How can it morph into they're figuring out, if we fry these up, if we, etc.
I forgot my board. I forgot my holy board. Uh-oh. They would, so they surmised that what could they do with those shavings? The idea came to them that they would mix those shavings with some flour, some seasonings, some flavorings, and make this glop. I apologize. I have to, Les, say something.
You talk to me last.
Let me interject here while Steve gets the holy board.
I don't even know this is going to be unbelievable. But all right, Les, tell me more stuff. Or now you two are brothers, by the way.
We're first cousin. We're first cousin once removed.
Oh, so wait, so he's the son?
He's the son.
How are you related? Nephi. Wait.
My grandfather Wells helped finance the Ore-Ida Foods Corporation. He also became the production manager for the plant when it was in production. And then my dad.
Was this in 1961?
1952.
Yeah, okay.
And my dad in 1957 was the cost accountant for the corporation.
Okay.
I had my first real job in the 4th grade. My mother and I would fill the vending machines at the potato processing plant.
You mean, when people wanted to have a soda or something?
They had this cafeteria with all these vending machines, and somebody needed to stock the vending machine. So my mom and I got the job.
That's fun. All right, that is still, you're still keeping it in the family. This is good.
Yes.
Now,
it was
you have
really
your
a family.
Yeah.
It was a family generated thing. So one of the farmers in the valley was, I think it was Masterson. He owned all the cows, and they would sell the potato scraps to him. He became one of the best investors in the tater tot. And
what was it called? And did they even call it tater tots? Was that the original, or they just call it like scrap glop? What was the?
Well, they did a citywide contest to see who could come up with the name.
Really? What were some of the other contenders? Do you know?
And I don't know who the contenders were, but the people in the city all submitted different names. And I was looking quickly for the name Loy.
It was
Cora Orton.
There you go.
Cora Orton came up with the word tater tot.
Tater tot. And this was in the 50s, right? Or is this even earlier, or much earlier?
1950, 1951.
Yeah. No, Steve, yeah, you have whatever the holy board is. It's like a Mormon thing, or what the hell? No. You did hold it right. Wait, you can see when you are there and when you're not. It's like a magic trick there. There's okay. All right. It's like a glory hole for midgets. What is this? Just hold it. Okay. What is that thing that we sort of half see?
How come it won't show up?
Don't move. Except your mouth. Talk. Yes.
Here they go.
Okay.
Here they go. This is the holy board, HOLEY. This is a facsimile of the prototype. and they had this board, and my uncle Golden would take the glop and he would squeeze it through different size holes, and or my father would do the glop, and then my uncle would chop it off at different lengths, and that's how they first formed the tater tots. And so this whole concept of formed food was very unique at the time. And is a very is of curious interest in the industry. Formed foods, not many foods were formed.
And
You know.
and in some other words, either you sold an actual product food, or you took a bunch at home and made it. You didn't have something that you could just kind of pre-made as
Right.
something that wasn't just an original potato. It was a potato that stuff was done to. And,
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's how tater tots were born. And so in 1953, that was the year tater tots were born. So this year, tater tots are 70 years old.
Met Muscle McClick. So let me ask you, when in 53 though, when you were pushing this stuff through the things, it was still glop. How did they get it safely to stores and things without preservatives in that time? Was it just flash frozen and sent in frozen food? I mean, what did they do?
Well, they packed it. They formed the potatoes, these little tots, and deep fried them. They would deep fry them in oil,
Yeah.
and then they would freeze them. So the enzymes are gone. The potatoes will stay fresh looking. You know, they'll stay the same potato color.
Right.
And then they would take these tots and they would cook them, freeze them, and put them in little packages. And then that's how they sold them in stores.
Now, how quickly did that ramp up into like a thing where every store in America, every supermarket, everyone knew tater tots from it just being this little local thing?
Can I tell a Fontaine Blue story?
Go ahead.
1954, there was a national, I believe it was a national, it was a national convention in Florida, Miami, at the Fontaine Blue Resort. And Nephi and Golden packed up 15 pounds of tots, packed them in ice, and I believe they drove to Florida, didn't they?
I think either way, that's a long ways.
They went to Florida. They got to the Fontaine Blue, unannounced, uninvited. And Nephi was really quite a character. He had all kinds of interesting sayings, and he was just a real character. So he went into the back of the restaurant, talked to the head chef, and gave him a $100 bill if he would place the few tater tots on a plate on every table.
Cooked. I mean, they were frozen.
They cooked them.
They cooked them so people could.
Yeah, he got see, no one had ever seen them before.
Right.
And so at this National Food Distribution Convention, clear across the country, they cooked them up. They had a break at this convention. The little plates of tater tots were placed on each breakfast table. And the quote is, they were gobbled up faster than a dead cat could wag its tail. And
that makes, what is that? I have no idea what
that's just what my dad. Well,
yeah, he was a weirdo. Okay, yes. So let me ask you, since I do have you, and he was your dad. And
yes.
Les just said, do you mind if I call you Les?
Yes, that's fine.
Just said that he was a character. Share some stories of Nephi Grigg, your papa. That don't have to do with you, potato. Just memories of your papa.
He was. He hunted. He fished. He
froze.
He froze.
He's like a tater tot. He literally froze like a tater tot.
I don't know what happened.
His body is frozen as we speak. He's like Disney. We're cryogenically waiting for him. Did you know Nephi though?
Yes, I did know Nephi very well.
Well, you're back. Yeah, well, you tell Les, you talk, and then Steve, you'll talk again. But Les, now you're talking about Nephi. Yeah.
And one of the stories I remember from Nephi is, well, he has a book named Briefs by Nephi. He wrote a biography, and his nickname was Nephi. Nephi was his name. He liked to be called Neph. And he wrote this little book called Briefs by Neph. And it's basically a lot of his witticisms, his stories, his beliefs. One of the sayings that I liked that he coined was, well, the mindset of the public at that time was, don't ever bite off more than you can chew. That was what the mindset of the public was. Nephi's philosophy was, bite off more than you can chew, then figure out how to chew it.
This is now. I do want to ask both of you, how much were the concepts? Since I'm obviously a Jewish person, but how much did Mormonism play in his psyche, in the psyche of the building of what became Oraita? Because I get the feeling that there's a certain sort of American pluckiness in it, or am I reaching here?
I don't think it's a factor myself.
Well, I would say that at the Mormon belief was heavily founded in families, and so being brothers and being very close, they I think that just kind of naturally influenced what they did. I remember one time when I was probably maybe 8 or 9, something like that. We went to the factory. We didn't go to the tater tot line. We went to the French fry line. My dad had slipped a salt shaker into his suit coat pocket, and he went out to. He just said, "I'm going to go. We're going to go check the produce lines." And so the tater tots had been cooked, or the French fries had been cooked, and they came out on conveyor belts. Just the smell of fresh cooked potatoes. I mean, come on. There you go. And he would reach up on those conveyor belts that were going on. He grabbed a big hand. He had big farmer hands, and he would grab those hot.
When they burned his fingers, they just came out of a fryer.
Well, they're on the cooling belt.
One thing I found, he's a strange man. So he'd take these fries and yeah, and he had salt in his pocket.
We salted them and ate them. And I tell you what,
yeah,
Rabbi, that was heaven.
Yeah.
That was heaven.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you, and you have to answer. You have to answer honestly. Okay, given your choice on a desert island, you have a pile of hash brown. I'm sorry. Wait, not hash brown. You have a pile of tater tots. Excuse me. Ketchup or applesauce? Go.
Ketchup.
I've never tried applesauce.
Oh my!
No, you mean fries and applesauce or fries and ketchup?
Tater tots and applesauce.
Oh, tater tots.
Yeah. What are you missing? Oh my God. So here's the deal, though. We are talking about your family. We are talking the building of Oraita. You guys, your family hasn't really been dealing on some level with Oraita since 1965. Yeah, your dad, in a business decision, sold the company. What was it for a mere 30 million?
30 million.
Chump change.
So are you guys just on an island like Jeffrey Epstein and then paying Polynesian girls for massages? I mean, why are you even working? What are you even doing? Your family got $30 million in 1965. If you just put $1 million away, you should be fine. Well, what do you guys do with your lives?
I didn't put $1 million away.
My father left the business in 1963, 64. So basically, when I was in the workforce in 1970, 78, 79, I became a stockbroker and spent 43 years, financial advisor, just retired this month.
Mazel.
And my legacy, I think, is my dream now, my second dream. The stock market is my first dream, my first passion. My second passion is what I'm doing now, and that's to bring this legacy out into the public, reconnect it with the tater tot, reconnect our name, the Grigg name, with the tater tot. And the Hershey Foundation has been my big motivation. Watching the Hershey Foundation for my lifetime and seeing how that whole thing has maintained their legacy, their name, and their product all connected together. And I have felt for a long time that I needed to reconnect my family legacy with the tot, and that's my life's mission.
And you have, I guess, I don't know if it's permission, or I assume you and the Kraft Heinz people who now own Oraita, they're cool with you doing
Yes.
whatever you do. You kind of say.
Yes, they are. We've
"Hey,"
had
Yeah,
coordinating conversations with Kraft Heinz as well as with J.R. Simplot Corporation, who now owns the production processing right of the tot, as well as the Oregon plant, where the Oregon plant produces 100% of the nation's tater tots.
oh, wow. Well, I didn't, so it really should be or tots at this point. Have some or tots. Now, what about you, Steve? Steve, what is your situation? Were you not in the stock market? What did you do after 1965?
Well, after 1965, I got into advertising and graphic design, and that was my passion. You know, my father was on the Heinz board of directors for a while. You know how they do. One company buys another one, they let everybody be there for a year or two, and then they kind of gut the place and bring in their own people. So that separated sort of legally the Grigg name from Tater Tots. So Tater Tots was then owned by Heinz, that became Kraft Heinz. So they own the trademark Tater Tots.
Right.
And I don't know why. It was just time. It was time to sell off the
I'm
plant.
kind of wondering why. I mean, it's wonderful that you had a life's career and you did advertising and marketing, PR. But did you have to, or could you have literally just, lived the life of Riley or Ida Riley, if you will?
Not even. There was
Wasn't a choice.
my father, Nephi and Golden, came from a family of 13 children.
Oh,
so I'll tell you what, he was very liberal. Nephi was very liberal with what he had. He gave to all of his children, all of his grandchildren.
Oh yeah.
And they shared, in the sale, there were a lot of stock options. It wasn't just a big outlay of cash. There were stocks go up, stocks go down. And he gifted to all of his grandchildren 30, sort of great. He gifted Heinz stock.
All
So-
right, not terrible, but yeah, okay. But so do you guys still have stock in Kraft Heinz? No.
No, Warren Buffett bought all of the stocks.
Wow.
10 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. Bought everything. So there is no, it used to be a Heinz stock. There is no more Ore-Ida
All right,
Heinz
so I'm
stock
gonna
out
ask
there.
you another. Be honest. When you guys eat frozen potato, either French fries or tater tots or hash browns, I will say the hash brown word. Is Ore-Ida the best still, or there's another brand that you kind of gravitate toward? Is the Kroger brand just as good? Or be honest, be open, true?
If I'm in a store and they don't have tater tot or Ida tots in the store, I will pick up a different name brand.
Fair enough.
I will not. Trust me. I ride a motorcycle. I ride a Harley, and only a Harley.
Oh, so yeah. So Ore-Ida is Ore-Ida. Ore-Ida is the Harley of hotness. Yes.
It is. And if it's not an Ore-Ida tot, it's not a tater. In fact, I'm making him cry here.
The loyalty is so beautiful. Yes.
So as we go cross country, I've been to Sturgis. Sturgis is about I live in Salt Lake City.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Sturgis is about 600 miles away. And between here and there, I know all the restaurants in Wyoming, in South Dakota, etc., who serve tater tots. So that's where
and you ask the waitress, do you say, really? You want to make sure. What if they're homemade though? What if they make them in-house? They scrape them and fry them. They don't know.
No, not going to happen. It's too arduous of a process.
Let me ask both of you. Obviously you have the image that you can get off the internet, but what memorabilia do you guys have of the families? The Grigg brother, well, you got that, yes. The holy board, the thing. What do you have? Other old packaging? Do you have other signage? Do you have contract? I mean, do you have stuff from the?
I'll start with that one.
What, yeah?
I'll start with that one. 1960, the Burley, Idaho plant was opened, and I have the broadside, a copy of the broadside of the newspaper that announced the grand opening.
All right. Cool.
And I've always been intrigued with the fact that on that broadside it says Atlantic Pacific Tea Corporation and Ore-Ida Foods Corporation announced the grand opening of the Burley, Idaho potato processing plant. I've never been able to find out the role that Atlantic Pacific Tea had with that grand opening.
Huh. Well, oh. That's the international, every Jew knows it, the international symbol for somebody giving money. Well, it could very well be. Or maybe they split before the thing, it was announced and then they just went their separate ways. It was just Ore-Ida. We don't necessarily know this. What else? What other thing? Do you have like an old potato sack from the day? Do you have any? No, nothing. No. Just,
no. Well, a lot of the other historical photos and things are all at the Ore-Ida plant on their what they call their wall of fame, and we're just beginning to open up negotiations with the J.R. Simplot company about those pictures and what their future is going to be.
Yeah, and Steve, you were going to say, yeah.
There was a lady back in the day who was kind of a historian. She was an employee and it was a historian. She was a historian. And in that office building, down one hallway, then up the other side, and then down another hallway and up the other side, are photographs. And it is a timeline of the inception of Ore-Ida Foods, the original a photo of the original board members, and then it goes along. And well, actually, there are two timelines. Here's the Ore-Ida timeline that goes like this. Then there is the national timeline.
Ore-Ida ramping up into a national brand, or what do you mean the national?
Well, just Kennedy is assassinated.
Oh.
This happened, Vietnam. And it kind of went along, and then Ore-Ida is its own separate line. So you could kind of get a picture of time, what was going on at Ore-Ida.
80,000 people ate tater tots with dinner the night Kennedy was shot. I don't know if you know this. This is the kind of thing you learn from the timeline. As the bullet went through his head, they were already preparing the tots in the oven. It was amazing. Even Jackie O, they told you, I don't want to eat. I'm not going to. Come on, Jackie, you have to eat some. Here, have a tot.
Have a tot.
That was her first thing that she put in her mouth.
Feed me.
Don't even know. So, by the way, the reason that you guys were at the publicity summit and you met Dave is specifically to bring, as you said, the legacy of what the Grigg brothers created in doing Ore-Ida. So there's what is it? It's called the Legacy Tater Tot Foundation. That is really what you're. If you're going to push something, it's the Legacy Tater Tot Foundation. So what do you want people to know, or is there a website to check out? What do you want us to do in terms of potatoes?
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, we would like to give that the story that we're telling. We'd like it to be available. There are articles written in various publications back in the 60s, Fortune magazine, Wall Street Journal, capturing the story of the business side, the business side, the amounts, the physical stuff. But we want the background, the humble beginnings, and the sort of what led up to tater tots, because that's the story, right? No waste philosophy blossoms into, on purpose. It wasn't an accident at all. Blossoms into a worldwide concept.
Yeah. I mean, it's a phenomenon, a thing of beauty. Let me ask you, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this, of bringing out, even if you have to self-publish, an annotated new version of Neef's briefs, where you have a whole long introduction of all the stuff that you want to tell that he didn't tell in his bio. And then you have the bio of actual, Nephi Grigg and his story, and you put that out as a new book. Maybe that's a cool way, or doing it on a website at least, of really getting the message out too.
Yes, we have talked about those things. The book itself was meant as more of an heirloom for the family. And so it's more personal stuff, but within there, one of the chapters is the oral writer story.
There you go.
Now,
So, yeah,
there are a few, as time affects your memory and your thoughts. In 1989, Heinz wrote a letter to my father, and they said, "Dear Nephi, we can't find any account. We can't. I don't know why. We don't know anything about the oral writer story itself." And so my father wrote a letter back, which is, and then he went down to Kinko's and
peed,
copied.
what? You what? It sounds like you say he peed. I mean, it was
No.
all thing at that point. It could happen. I just
Well,
did.
whatever.
Yeah.
He created a story called the Tater Tot Story, and it's not published in any forum, but he wrote it down and copied it at Kinko's, not Pedo's, but Kinko's.
But did he at that point want to make up something fanciful? And you're saying memory plays tricks. Are you saying that he kind of fudged things just to make it cooler, or what? What are you saying?
No, he would never do anything on purpose. I think he just naturally, details come and go. So we want to make sure that the stories that are published are accurate.
You could republish his letter and then annotate it and say, this is probably not quite, or this is absolutely not true, but this is true. So readers could make up their own minds, have it from the horse's mouth, even if the horse was slightly demented at that point. And then the rest is you could tell the story as you guys know it. Because even at this point, you guys are in your 60s, maybe 70s almost. Yes.
71.
70 Mazel Tov. So your memory, God forbid, but your memories could be going. You could get off this program. You won't remember what you did this morning. You were on this whole important episode of Dave's Gone By with me, Rabbi Sal Solomon, and someone will come up to you and say, while you're eating lunch, and say, "Whoa, how did you spend your morning?" Walking. You will know it. So you got to get this done now. This is why you're doing this. This is why you're getting. So publish, write, get a website. Go to the Tater Tot Legacy Foundation. Does this have a site?
Not yet.
We
No.
don't have one yet. We're still working on a website and building that up. This project started in February of this year. I had this aha moment, decided that I needed to retire. I needed to spend the rest of my life reconnecting the Grigg name with the Tater Tot legacy.
Right.
And we're just starting a multi-year mission to bring this story back in together, get the Grigg name reattached to the Tater Tot story, and hopefully maintain the legacy. I guess the Hershey Foundation has been my big motivation. I really want to emulate that whole legacy.
Well, let me ask you a last question for Leslie on the. I mean, I don't know how everybody sees this. I have Leslie on top and Steve on the bottom here. My wife, when she's feeling sexual, she has you reversed, and she's. But here's what was I saying? Oh, you mentioned Nephi, I have all these grandkids, which means that you both have youngins and maybe even grandkids at this point. Yes. Uh-huh. Have you chosen who, or have they self-chosen who will be the legacy keepers after you?
We have not got to that question yet, but I'm 71 years old. I haven't had a medical issue for 45 years, and I'm really healthy.
I'm not knocking on wood. That's a wrong religion thing. But tweet. What about you, Steve?
Interestingly, I have a daughter-in-law who is a voracious defender of the Tater Tot, the Grigg name. And so probably that family, my son and that wife, are probably the most fervent followers and keepers and loyal to the Tater Tot family and the Grigg name.
Well, if they are not, remember, I am here. Have you ever want the book written in Hebrew? This would be. We have been talking and delightfully talking with Steve Grigg, Leslie Grigg, the keepers at the moment of the flame, a flame that will not go out, of the Grigg brothers' story and Nephi Grigg and how they founded what became Oraida and how they created the Tot of taters. Ladies and gentlemen, it just remains for me to thank you ever so much for taking some time out of your Saturdays to be with us in the Daverhood. Grigg Cousins, I would call you. Shalom to you, and thank you so.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom and thank you.
And potatoes forever.
Long live the tot.
Oh, my friends, what a delight, what a joy to be talking taters with the Griggs, or Grigg apostrophe S, because it's Grigg without the S. But make sure you look up when they have the website ready, Legacy Tater Tot Foundation. And when you look, I'm not saying you have to buy or I did right now because they've got nothing to do. You know, it's Heinz and this other company. Don't worry about this. What you need to worry about is when you're in the supermarket and you look through the frozen things and the corn and the peas and the succotash, and you see tater tots of any brand, just give a thought to the beauty, the wonder, the joy that is what because what is a latke but a tater tot on steroids? Think about that. And think about having a wonderful week. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches. I'm going to bring it back to Dave. Have a wonderful, tatterful week. And shalom to you all. Whoa. Stop it. It won't stop. It won't stop. The music continues. Rabbi Sol is like, he stops the music when he feels it's right to stop the music. Anyway, we're starting the rest of this episode of Dave's Gone By. It is Saturday morning, April 15th, 2023. I'm Dave Lefkowitz, and you are here with me. Oh, yeah, it's getting warm, man. Here in the Daverhood. We were just talking with the Grigg cousins. They're not brothers, the Grigg cousins. Oh, wow. Let me tell you something. The Grand Knish is so grateful to me.
David, can I open this door and get some?
Yeah. The Grand Knish is so grateful to me for having the Grigg cousins on.
Yes.
And talking about potatoes for half an hour. That he's allowing me to wear his crown, his magical, beautiful crown.
Disco balls.
Yeah. Well, I've had those. It's terribly itchy. So thank you, beloved Grand Knish. Thank you, Grigg cousins.
You have tea, honey, too.
Where? Oh, wait, is that my tea?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
your tea. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you ever so much.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was your tea. I didn't say it. I
didn't see it. Thank you. Oh, the Grand Knish, his sash. Part of his sash came off. Oh, how you doing, babe? How's your?
I just sent you a tweet via Gmail that the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is available for weddings. So there's a couple getting married. I think they're using it either as you can't have a party in it, but I don't know what the deal is.
As a backdrop, you can walk in.
And maybe they're getting, so I sent you I didn't read it. It was on CNN, so I sent you the link.
Well, we never really did our proper 25th anniversary.
You want to do it in the Wiener? We should do it in like Potato Day.
On Potato Day, or at least what Potato Day is in Greeley, or maybe the Maryland Potato Spud Festival. Because they have the Spud Festival, like.
I don't want to wear like a potato outfit. Like I want to.
Oh, I do.
You could wear your potato outfit. I don't want to wear.
I'll wear a potato. You wear a peeler outfit.
I have to go maybe to our tailor and get the potato fabric into some sort of dress.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, and then we could renew our vows, and then have tater tots at the spot. Make a
that
tofu.
would probably be counterproductive.
What?
Look at how the wind's blowing the numbers.
Is it a song?
It's blowing those on the numbers behind you. Look.
Oh my.
The wheelie gig.
And it gives some some motion to the imagery behind me.
Yes, I mean, so cool.
So might as well.
It sounded like a really fun interview, huh?
They were very good, and it was
got a lot of knowledge.
Delightful to hear from them because the families had been.
Yeah.
It wasn't. These are guys in their 70s, so it's not as
They were
if.
close to it. It wasn't like they were just guesstimating.
So those were our guests, whether they were guesstimating or not.
Yes, yeah.
And we are here with Dave's Gone By. We still have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We have Greeley Crimes and Old Times. But let's talk, since you're here, let's talk about our trip, because that was really our 25th anniversary
Well, we did a lot of
trip.
stuff.
So I'll explain, Joyce is a gerontologist.
I'll explain Joyce. Thank you.
Oh, Joyce is inexplicable, but she is, she deals with aging. Would it be a component of sociology, or is it too
No, I
broad
think
to say that?
so I began as this, well,
Mhm,
I began in community health and public health,
right,
and then sociology, but my interest, my topical interest is in life course.
in the life course of you, so from birth to death and everything, you know, what was the thing, like, if you're born, you're aging.
Well, it's
If you're 2 days old, you are aging, you
I,
know?
I look at more structural components than like psychological components. I'm a
Hmm.
structural.
What does that even mean?
So I look at like, you know, things like income, education,
Oh.
like race, ethnicity, like things that your childhood, right? Those kind of things, you know, the neighborhood you live in, all those kind of quantifiable things that impact how you age, access to resources, health resources, you know, education, all that. So I don't look at like, I'm not a developmentalist. I don't look at like psychological changes with aging. I embrace them and I read about them and I teach them. But my thing is more it's the see right.
physical around it, yeah.
It's the individual in relationship to society.
Well, your latest book, which is going to come out in October or November, is going to be about relationship to place, what people feel is home or place, or, yeah.
God, it's the place you affect where you live, of course.
So how do we get on it? Well, because Joyce, being a gerontologist and teaching at a local university, you know, there are societies and things that she belongs to as part of it. Like, I belong to the Theater Critics Association because I am, and she belongs to this. So they had their annual meeting this past week. Why they don't do their meetings during spring break, why they don't do their meetings, you know, in between semesters, I don't know. Because I guess they can't really guess when everybody has their spring break and when
And then
everybody's
some
semester.
people travel.
Yeah. So, and also, I would feel that like Norfolk, Virginia in July,
Oh,
would not be that pleasant. yeah. So in the middle of April, this particular organization had its annual meeting in Norfolk, Virginia. So Joyce was like, I should go, and it's not the big national thing, but it's a regional, it's important. And she was there as, you know, like an invited an important hoo-ha speaker, not just like going on a panel, but literally being on this like chosen few.
Spotlights. There's
Yeah.
several, you know.
All right. And she's like, well, do you want to come along? Because I haven't been, except for going to Maryland to buy a house, to move here. And I gotta get this off because it's like distracting me. But except for when we moved here and started looking around Baltimore and looking at northern Baltimore and towns, we haven't been anywhere or gone anywhere or done anything since like about the pandemic. Last place we went to was Austin, Texas. And I won't even set foot in Texas because of, you know, the governor there. But
Texas.
I'm saying last one was 2019. We went to Austin, which was a fabulous time. I mean, I hate to say that I had a wonderful time in Austin because I don't want people going there. Yeah, 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. And then a pandemic. So we're basically stuck in a room for 2 years and barely anything beyond that. We won't get on planes. We won't get on even Amtrak or anything. We're just like scared, you know. But this was too good. It's sort of like, okay, got to start living again. There's a conference. You're invited. Let's go. Let's have a fine old time. So you'll take part in the conference, sit through a few things, do your spiel, shake hands, meet important people, and then we'll be in another city. We'll be, you know, able to be out there and doing things. And so, and we did our thing again of like, well, you know, it's still a pandemic, so we're not going to take a plane and we don't want to take Amtrak. All right. Oh, all right. Well, we get down there. We get down there and somehow.
Yes.
And so, and it was a longish trip Can we talk about why the trip was so long?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So, someone you know had told you that Virginia and also I guess southern Baltimore
This
and
was the
Washington area,
state of construction,
which
and that they're always doing construction.
so on our way down there, where suddenly everything slows down. We figure it's going to be because I didn't really figure this out myself. It's 250 miles away from where we're living. And I figured, well, if you got a car going 60, 65 miles an hour, traveling at that rate of speed, it should take about 4.5 hours door to door. I did not figure on traffic. I did not figure that it isn't 95% highway to highway, that's what surprised me. It wasn't like interstate zoom 70 miles the whole way.
No.
It's kind of like down these roads, this is
And
50, this is 40.
highways, yeah.
Yeah.
Highways were 2 lanes.
And did not figure on in the middle of things seeing big plumes of black smoke coming from tree lined, because the ride, parts of it was gorgeous.
Mhm.
I mean,
Nature, natural.
had we gone 3 weeks ago, would have been a lot of bare trees.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
And 3 weeks from now, it still would have been beautiful. But now you've got this mix of like green trees sprouting for the spring and trees that are already getting lush and colorful trees. So it's like, whoa. And then suddenly like, is that smoke? And now the car goes from going 50 miles an hour to 5 miles an hour
To zero.
because there was literally blocked off for a fire. And it's weird because there's a fire engine and vehicles parked.
But nothing going on.
Yeah, and there's no entry. I mean, they're parked like a half a mile away from where the fire is.
That's to keep people away.
I don't know, or from making a turn down that thing. So they block off half the highway, which slows everything down completely. But also this, you would figure, okay, they would be lined up and then there'd be a pathway to a driveway to whatever's on fire. This was just like, oh, there's vehicles by this steep incline. What are they doing there? Besides blocking traffic, they did,
Yeah.
whatever. And then it is, if there is, I don't know what the Virginia state tree is or flower, but the Virginia state thing should be a traffic cone.
Yes, the logo, yeah.
We have never seen so many traffic cones and diversions, and you have to go out of this lane.
Yes.
This lane's ending, this lane's
And
merging.
there's no construction, like it was nighttime,
Yeah.
there's no construction.
Yeah, every time we start getting up a good head of steam, and we're 55 miles an hour, we're rolling now. We have just 2 hours, an hour and a half left on the trip, and suddenly it would be like incredible slowdown because 2 lanes have to merge into one, and then suddenly it's like 4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, and we would see the driver's GPS, right, and it would just be red, like a blue line would suddenly turn red, and you would see this thing plus 20 minutes.
Yes.
And so it would literally tack on 20 more minutes to a drive that was well over 5 hours. It's like, by the time we got out of there, like my hips were sore. I mean, we had a wonderful driver. It was lovely. It was fabulous. But we were all like, this drive will never end. This is just like, this is why Donald Trump's take helicopters places, because they don't have to do this. But we
You
get,
want to show the picture of you and the, do you have the?
I don't have my
You want me to
my
get
phone.
the picture? I'll
Get a picture and another potato maybe.
I can't get another picture.
All right, then get the photos and stuff. So we get to Norfolk, Virginia, and we stay in the Hilton Hotel because it's the hotel where the conference is. And Joyce and I we're middle class, whatever. I'm certainly, so we're used to Marriott's. We're used to these, speaking of Mormons today, I guess that's a theme. We're used to these places because they usually get like a bit bigger and they're sweet and they're nice and they're reasonably priced. But in this particular case, I'm a Hilton Honors member and things, and it's the conference hotel. We figure, fine, we'll stay in the Hilton, got a great rate. Why not? And I've got to say, Joyce and I were very, very happy. Well, no, I mean, the hotel
Oh, the
was.
hotel was beautiful, yeah.
First of all, here's me literally with a ceremonial traffic cone on the street in Norfolk, Virginia, because even on the sidewalks, they have traffic
Tell me what
cones.
pictures you-
Well, yeah, as I progress
so-
through my brain here in terms of what we saw, but the Hilton, I'm not doing a commercial for Hilton. I'm just saying we stayed there. If it sucked, I would tell you it sucked. It did not suck. in any way, shape, or form. The only real annoyance, and it was pretty funny after a while, was everybody staying in the hotel above like the third or fourth floor. We all had our key cards to get into
Oh,
the
that was funny, and
rooms.
everyone couldn't use it, yeah.
Everybody getting into the elevator, you press an elevator button, and it wouldn't light. You know, the door would start to close, but you wouldn't be going anywhere because it would not recognize you're pressing the elevator button. So you'd have to take your key. Aha, of course, it's a safety issue. You take your room key card, you rub it on the door, and then except half the time it wouldn't. So people are getting in the thing and they're rubbing and they're pressing and they're rubbing and they're pressing. And it's like, and sometimes you think, okay, you have to rub, then press, and then you would do it and then it will work. And then, oh, you press and then rub. It's like, and then somebody, you press, you rub at the same time. Eventually everybody got where they were going, but everybody would look at each other in the elevator.
Did it, and the joke was it was too late. And so I passed my floor and they're like, oh no, I'm like, I know.
Yeah, but other than the elevator, other than that, which by the way never broke down or anything, it was a
Oh,
perfectly.
you get a collage with you on the traffic cone.
Oh, did it? Let's see this.
My phone made a traffic cone collage.
There he
I
is.
didn't make that.
Joyce's phone has artificial intelligence that purposely does stupid things with my face. And that's your picture. It just automatically brought that up.
It
so-
wants to revisit that day.
But it's a very
David
nice
just
hotel.
made it look at another collage.
Can I show these? Your face is in it. Are you okay with that?
Quickly show it.
Yeah, there
Okay,
we are.
that's long enough.
That's in front of the postcardy "You Are in Norfolk" mural that they had, which is over down by the water.
Doing a cinematic photo of you near the trash can.
And I will say they did not lie in the thing for the room at the Hilton that we had, because this is partial water view,
Yes.
partial water view. So we come in, we
This is
open.
what we saw.
Yeah, well, you know, keep doing that. Yeah. Partial water. So I opened the door to get into the hotel the first time, and I'm like, what's up? It's a parking garage.
The shades down.
Well,
yeah.
or even no, they were up, but it was a parking garage and like a truist building and
Oh,
a thing. Yeah. There's water over there. But then this is how they design it, I guess, or this part of the. If you're on the bed and your bed is on that side of the room and you look out the window from the bed, you see the water and you see the sunset of Norfolk, Virginia. You see, well, here's me standing on a dock. I think it got dark here. Here we go. Yeah. You see pointing towards this. So they weren't kidding about the partial water
Want to
view.
show it this way?
Oh, they weren't. Let's see if it works. That's old. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. So, and the hotel had, I called beforehand to make sure the hotel had all the accoutrements, a hair dryer, a fridge. They do have a. You ever notice that they don't have mini bars anymore? I never I hated them.
Productive. I think most places, like, they have room. If you really want alcohol, they have bar. They prefer you to probably go to the bar at their place, or they prefer that you probably would go to
Order
use
up room
something.
service or something.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, and I never liked it. You would have a thing, and you would be tempted because they have a Hershey bar, and they have bags of M&Ms. They have things in this mini bar, and you grab one, and suddenly it's like $6 in your hand.
But sometimes,
Of a
like,
snack.
you just, like, I know for us too, like, you just wouldn't have food and you were hungry.
I know it was a
Yeah.
convenience, but you pay through the nose for convenience.
Like them, like cleaning it up and stocking it, like, it's too much.
Yeah. So I think a lot of places have stopped doing the whole mini bar. Maybe really fancy ritzy hotels still do it. You'll need a little bottle of alcohol. $20, but you have it. Give me a fridge. Give me a fridge and a local Walgreens. And
You know why? Because you are.
we went to the museum. We went to the Chrysler Museum, and it's not a museum of Chrysler cars. It's the Chrysler Foundation or something.
That's a good point.
Put all this money and into a serious art museum. And here's a not serious painting at the Serious Art Museum, where they, by the way, allow you to take photos.
No flash.
No, as long as you don't use a flash. And I'm telling you, this is a place that has some paintings from the 1400s and the 1500s, as well as Impressionist art and Picasso, and there's a Warhol. I mean, it's a standard
Do you
art
want your
museum.
pictures where you're like faces?
Depends on what I mean, we'll end up showing all of them, I guess, so,
This one, and if you swipe to if you swipe either way, you're gonna see.
if you swipe either way, you go home with someone who's kind of hot tonight. Oh, this is.
And you can swipe backward and see the one of the statue got made.
These are the happy children. Here's a painting at the Chrysler. That's, my thumb is mostly taking up most of this here. But yeah, this is old Dave doing a funny photo with some not very funny children at the art museum, the Chrysler Art Museum in Norfolk, which is the only museum we did. I used to be like a museum hound. Oh, it's rather hard to see, thank goodness, in this photo. Here's me standing with a sculpture of a man, and I'm pointing because, oh, yes. Yes, indeed, he didn't put on pants today. Neither did I. And the thing, you can't really see that. But so unfortunately, when I was in my 20s and 30s, if I was in a new city, I would run to every museum that was, whether I could pay, whether it was, because I needed to see everything. I need to experience everything. So if there was a naval museum, with a children's science museum, I went to, I think it was either in Romania or Prague or somewhere, there was a police museum.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize it happened at Greek Orthodox Church. Everybody hated the place because the Soviets came in and they turned it into a Russian police museum when it happened at church. But I thought, oh, I want to see a museum. Oh, there's guns. But now I want to see a good museum. I want to see some cool stuff, but I don't need to see everything. I don't need to run around to be like, oh my goodness, there's a museum of Bavarian folklore. Yeah, no, especially we're only there for like 2.5 days. But so we picked a good museum to go to. But we are at that age though, where it's like room after we got what?
We left a picture of potato in the museum too on your phone.
Yes, we explain.
You explain.
All right,
Well,
there's of course a room for children to get involved and active. So they have pieces of paper where kids can draw and leave their drawings up.
And it says, what do you collect? Because it's all about, museums are all about collections, because the Chrysler is all about the collection of the family, the Chrysler family.
There you go.
So the tagline says, what do you collect?
And Joyce drew a
It's on your
picture,
phone.
of course, of
It's on
potato.
your
All right,
phone.
let me find, wherever my phone is. But Joyce drew an adorable picture of one of these potato guys because it's what we collect. And that is now going to be in posterity
I'll see if I.
for a week or two at the Chrysler Museum, along with all these other drawings by kids, which is yay. But there's this thing now when we go to museums, like we see 4 or 5 or 6 rooms and we walk around them. And then it's kind of like, let's just take a gander. Do we want to go into this room? My feet hurt.
I don't like certain things, like I never liked necessarily religious art, so.
That's
you know,
better. Yeah.
You know, and some of the stuff like glass, or you didn't want the African stuff because of your history with your pen.
Right. So there'd be rooms that we would go into of and we kind of say, all right, let's take a quick buzz through this. Because we're saving our energy for a room that was, oh, okay, I'm gonna look at that one. I don't know, is it my pants pocket? Is it charging? I hope I'm charging it because it was kind of getting down. Yes, it was getting down. So we're going through the museum and looking for amazing paint. I didn't find many paintings there that I was in love with. So usually when I go to a museum, I'll find 1 or 2 paintings that I'll fixate on a little bit. I'll think, oh, that's all right. I like that. Here, I think we're rushing through it a bit, but there were 1 or 2 that I kind of dug. There was one, who was it? It was blue. It was almost like blue wallpaper, like drippy blue with a line across.
It was the husband and wife singer. No, the husband and wife, where the wife didn't get really much recognition and she did. They had her painting as well.
Yeah, I think it was a woman's. I think it was hers.
No, the guy was the blue.
It was abstract. Yeah,
she was the more like literal scene.
And there were a couple that had really beautiful. Here, let me show Joyce's potato drawing. It's a little, there it is. There's me pointing to it. Yes, that is at the, if you go to the Chrysler Museum today, it's probably still up there before they cover it over, and with some other kids drawing. So
I think they did great stuff.
it was a lovely afternoon at I'm trying to think if there's anything else to tell about the Chrysler Museum. I don't know if there was. It was just a good standard art, old art and modern art museum that we went through. And I also went to, I took a morning walk.
Here's a closer version.
Oh, here's again, Joyce's potato and me pointing to it. I'll get close on that. Look at that. Look at the detail that you put in the hat. Any others that we want to show?
You have my phone.
Oh, yeah, so here.
This is the thing you saw, you went to a house, and it wasn't there.
Right. I was just going to get to that. I went for a morning walk and took a left turn at Albuquerque. So I think there was a sign for the pagoda outdoor gardens, like Asian garden there. I thought it was Japanese, but it was more Chinese. Just 2 blocks further. So I took this left and I wandered into this whole other world. It was so lovely, especially in a spring morning. These flowering white trees. There was, of course, a giant pagoda thing. And if you walk just towards the tip of it, there you were at the water again. So you saw the water that way in these little waterfalls and these young trees. It was this marvelous oasis right in the middle of a city, of a suburban area of a city in Norfolk. And I couldn't recommend that enough. That was one of my Zen moments, staying in Norfolk. And then I walked another block back to the other direction, and there was a Victorian house, which was simply, you figure it reminds you just how young America is. Because I'm going to be in this really old Victorian era. Wow, everything was built in 1894. It was only 100 years old, like 30 years ago. It was nothing. So, but it's this nice house with all this old wood, and woman there was very nice and explained a bunch of things. But the guy was who had it built. He got some of his money being a doctor early on, and this is one of his books. And they have this. I don't know if it's hard to see, Foreign Bodies in Air and Food Passages. Because I know if I want some light reading for the evening, I want to know
You probably
if
could
there's,
have predicted and stopped COVID.
if we find it in my food passage, I'm like, oh, hello.
We have a lot of your poop, your shirt, Hercules, the pump thing, the chess game, the egg, whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. Well, as things come up, here's what I was talking about earlier. Here's the
George.
tone machine.
Oh, my favorite.
What is that? Which is there? Is that George? No, the lobster tank at the hotel?
Show you this.
So this is all stuff that Joyce and I were doing in our trip this week to Norfolk, Virginia, land of cones, land of mermaids. The whole thing is, it's the mermaid town. The public art is this thing. Remember the cows in New York?
Yeah.
They do this with mermaids in
I
Norfolk.
think really have the cow, not New York.
What, don't you remember? What was, they had bulls,
Bulls or
the
horses.
stock market, all those, and then you're right, cows in Greeley, and now mermaids, rightfully enough, in Norfolk, Virginia. So there's me posing with one of the public art mermaids, which is kind of neat. It was a really nice city. What is this one? Oh, and in the hotel we were staying in the Hilton, it's pretty centrally located. It's right by the water and right by Granby Street, which has most of everything. All the restaurants, all the stuff is on Granby. I took a long walk on
We
Granby.
didn't take any of the food truck on the music.
No,
or the food
well, there's
trucks.
one food truck. There was-
But we didn't take any pictures of that whole event. We should have.
we took one of the guy's shirt.
Yeah, but we didn't. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll show you that one.
This was not on Granby, but this was right near the hotel we were staying at. How could I resist? How could I resist a food place called the Fudgery? The Fudgery. So I went and asked them if they would pack fudge for me, and they threw me out. No, just kidding. Just teasing, ladies and gentlemen. So we're there. And I go down for these walks. So I go into this Victorian house and just look at this way that the doctor lived. What was really interesting, 1894, they had a bathtub,
Yeah.
right? A bathroom with a thing. And that's like a modern bathroom that you could and I actually did use because I had a big breakfast. But they had a sign that said, back in the day, we had a bathtub, but they still used an outhouse for the other plumbing. They still had someone, you know, they would take a cistern or what call that? What do they call those?
Chamber pot.
Chamber pot. Which I don't, wouldn't you, wouldn't you just pee in the tub then?
No. Oh.
Well, if the tub is like,
But you have to bathe in the tub. You don't want to bathe in your pee.
you
right?
wash it, well, you wash it out like everything else, like you pee in the shower, you go, and it goes
I don't
down.
pee in my shower.
You don't pee in the shower, you never, Madonna talked to this about David Letterman. You never let out a little trickle of
No.
piss in the shower?
No, my feet are down there.
Oh, wait, let's do this one. And of course, we didn't eat here. I was so
We did,
tempted.
but that's where the breakfast came from that one day.
Was it from the egg or was it from,
Yes.
or was it from Grains? I thought they got from Grains.
No, Grain is a brewery. Grain is from.
Oh, I thought that was from the, so we got, yeah, we had a breakfast in and we had a yummy dinner from a place called Saltines there. And I'm not crackers for saying this, but there's a restaurant right near or in the hotel kind of called Saltines. And I had for the first time of my life, the cobia fish. You ever heard of this? I never heard of this. Cobia fish. It's a flaky white fish that they blackened, and it was awesome good. Yeah. Because I like to try new things. As much as my stomach is telling me, Dave, you want steak, you want ribs, you want steak, you want ribs, you want steak, you want ribs. But my brain tells me,
Fish.
try things once, at least in your life. Yeah. So you can always get ribs. You know what ribs are going to taste. You know what prime rib is going to taste like. You know what, but cobia fish, what the hell is that? So I tried it and I was not in any way disappointed. This is a picture from the Saltines restaurant where we got the cobia fish. Those are little bitty lobsters in the window with my head magically popping in there where the lobsters
You
were.
want to show the man shirt you liked or what?
Yes. So one of the things that we did on our last night in town, we only had like 3 nights in town, but
Oh,
on the last night we go for a walk on the Norfolk Pier on the water, and it's one of those nights. Just
no,
luckily,
what happened was,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
One of the women said at the exhibit said, hey, they're having live music and food trucks.
right? So we figure, hey, this is a perfect opportunity. We're gonna go down there
You can
probably
swipe it
anywhere
this way,
anyway.
then just swipe it that way for a better view.
Cool. So we come down there to listen to music, and they have a band that's playing 80s music.
Great, yeah. Wonderland or something, Wonderland.
Is that the band?
Yeah.
They got a lesbian singer who could really mimic
You don't
Chrissy
know.
Hinn. Come on, the haircut, the thing. But the band played 80s music really well,
Yeah,
and
listen.
she could really
Hand me
imitate.
your phone.
All right, she could imitate Chrissy Hinn or Hind from the
Yeah,
Pretenders.
she did a lot of, and then they had a guy sing too.
You know, they had 3 different singers to take turns because they were up there playing for 3 hours, like a bar
That
mitzvah
was a long set.
wedding band. They were good. They were, so they're playing, and people are crowding around. There's people playing. Oh, I blanked.
What?
The-
Cornhole.
Cornhole.
They were doing,
Unfortunately, they were playing so much cornhole. They have these cornhole things that Joyce and I
they
never
called
got
it
to
the
play.
Sundown Social, that's what they're
Sundown
calling it at
Social.
South Park, that's what it was.
Yeah. So people playing cornhole. We thought there'd be a lot of food trucks there. There was really
They
only
played
one.
David,
Yeah.
they played from 4 till 7:30.
That's why they have 3 different singers, because otherwise you'd blow your throat out. And she was energetic too. She wasn't just standing there singing. She was like moving. She was hopping around. She was dancing well into their gig. So I hope they were paid really well for. There's like a public performance of like when they have bands playing in the park, so people can dance and mill around. So we go, and there's 2 things that we spot. One, there's a couple of tables of people selling jewelry and stuff for people who want to kind of poke through. And Joyce finds the one. Did you remember the phrase?
Let's see
That's going to be your phrase from now on.
what they got going.
Oh, they had photos and they had images of it. Is that them?
Yeah, but I'm afraid that it's gonna.
Oh, that will end up with a copyright thing. Yeah.
They have a photo gallery, let's see the photos.
I can't believe it. Like, If I put your phone down for 1 second, it loses its thing. Here we go. Yeah. So Joyce, I say, hey, look, they have some jewelry, see if they have anything you're interested in. And they had a tag, like a little chainy thing. And do you want to share the logo on it?
Yeah, whatever you.
You say it. You say the
No, I'm looking for you do that.
well, Joyce
They
really
say they're a
found.
high energy band with no bounds.
This is the band that we're playing. They were very high energy. They were good. For me, I just want to kind of stand there and watch the water. The thump of the drum kind of annoyed me after a
It
while.
says
But
fourth season multi-instrumentalists and singers.
yeah, they were very good.
Modern rock, top 40 pop country alternative. Wow.
Yeah, they did. Well, it was mostly 80s music, but they did a bit of everything there. But in this thing, Joyce finds an item. I told her she should get it, but she's just going to get the phrase on this. It's manifest that shit, which she was like absolutely in love. Manifest that shit, which is a marvelous way of saying, if you think about it, if you just do it, just believe in it, make it happen, manifest that shit. So that was kind of cool. And then I saw this. We're just walking. I remember there's children everywhere playing. They're playing other game. There were a couple of people doing hula hoops. There's people dancing, just milling about, having a gay old time, if you will, on the pier. And then I see the shirt on this guy, which is kind of fantastic. A cattle company, Slapdick's Cattle Co. And the
This
logo
is
is
the
a little
thing we
fuzzy.
did.
Yeah, great. Oh, this was the thing. It was the Sundown Social. Literally, this is what we did 2 days ago, two nights ago, on the pier, or I guess it's called a pier, the boardwalk, or where all the boats go out. But then there's this guy, Slapdick's Cattle Company. What was it? Meat that's hard to beat. I kid you not. Meat that's hard to beat.
Give me your phone. I want to
Slapdicks.
see. No, that's my
Yeah.
phone. I want to see if it's a real company.
Oh
I
yeah,
bet you it's real.
it's gotta be. Oh, maybe you think it was just a comedy thing on his shirt? That made me
I
rather
wonder if
happy.
it was.
No,
No.
I don't. I'll bet it's real. I'll bet. Look for Slapdicks Cattle Company. May not have been in Virginia. It could be anywhere that the guy went, and he may not work for them. He may just have bought the T-shirt, as any man would. So we're talking about. Oh, let's see. So I've talked about the cones, fire lanes, the fudgery. Oh, the fudgery. The very first soft serve machine, cobia fish, the egg. Oh, we can also talk. Did you find them? Or do they exist?
I can't tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't log in because you don't have your.
Oh, well, no.
I'm getting Instagram.
Or maybe they go right to an Instagram page.
It's in Slaughter, Louisiana.
Could be. Would be appropriate. A cattle company would be located in Slaughter. Let's see this.
Is that real? That's real, right?
Slapdickscattleco.com. Meat. Sorry, that's hard to beat. There it is. It's real. That's real. And the man was wearing their shirt. It's a beautiful thing, ain't it?
Yeah, it's unusual. I'll tell you that.
So also one of our highlights of the trip, because me especially, but Joyce a little bit too, we're foodies. And we want a dessert. We're there, we figure it's warm weather because it was perfect spring weather, but it got a little hot into the low 80s in Norfolk. And we're right on the water, so it's hot and humid too. We're like, ice cream. And we go to the fudgery, and the ice cream doesn't look so amazing and wonderful. So we're like, maybe let's find somewhere else. So they have this thing now, and I'll bet you it will go fairly big and fairly viral, where it's a s'mores place.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that you're seeing everywhere now, thanks to all these TV shows, is macarons.
Yeah.
Macaroons have never done anything for me. I grew up on Manischewitz macaroons for Passover, and it was basically like chocolate, coconut, and shape. There's just nothing, right? So macaroon, and the other idea of macarons are these very dry, very airy, meringue things. Maybe they're wonderful, and certainly if someone handed one to me, I would eat it. But for people to go out of their way to pay $2, $3, $4 for a little friggin' macaron, I'm like, what the, no, give me a cookie. Give me either a cookie, give me a dish of ice cream, give me a cake, a flan, or something. But a s'more, now we're talking. S'more, it's got cake, it's got chocolate, it's got a little bit of marshmallow. And so they have this place that is, again, fairly close to our hotel called S'mores Amore. Okay,
I know, that's funny.
love s'more, s'mores amore. And we go in and we explain, so how the hell does this work? And they do a thing where there's fudge with ice cream, or s'mores, excuse me, s'mores with ice cream. Well, you had me at ice cream and you had me at s'mores. So like, okay. So you get to pick the little cube of s'more that they put. I thought they were gonna cut it up and whip it and mix it with the ice cream. They don't do that. They take a s'more. And the woman, without really telling me, then suddenly emerges with a blowtorch. And I'm like backing away from the counter because she's taking this little blowtorch and she's doing the top, just as you would, the top of the s'more to make it nice and golden brown and crusty. She takes that away, she plops it on a thing of chocolate ice cream. It's like $10. And she hands it to me, enjoy. And we go, and we do enjoy.
Oh my God, it was heaven.
The s'more was good because you break it up and mix it. And the ice cream was very, very, it was almost like cold mousse.
It was like chocolate mousse. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, cold chocolate mousse. So it's very whipped, very airy. Didn't give you really that much of the ice cream experience, but mixing that with a s'more, you know, because you take a piece of this with the ice cream, it was very nice.
It was delicious.
So I would say it could go viral if they lower their prices a little bit. I think it would be a very cool thing that people would do all over the place because you can take it in this little transportable container. It's not as messy as an ice cream cone because you get
Yes,
a scoopy thing.
but you need to have that thing to burn it.
And it gives you like all these different taste sensations because it's got cake, it's got, you're chewing into something. It's not just like a cup of gelato. There's more going on. So I'm like, yay, s'mores amore, right? Yay. What else did we do? My other Zen moment. So I had two Zen moments on our trip to Norfolk, Virginia. One, I mean, it was kind of Zen just walking along the pier, walking along and just seeing the water and looking out in the ships, literally like little baby ones, little tugboats, and things that were heading to the Bahamas, perhaps, because it's a real port. It isn't just like, oh, here's a 2-hour sunset cruise and, you know, go around and come back. It's like there are things that we're pulling out that we're not going to come back for days. So it's beautiful to watch all that. But my Zen moments were at the Chinese garden, the outdoor garden, because it was just this morning moment and the trees were so lovely and it just felt like, I'm in this different place, in a different place, right? It was so neat. And then the other was our last, it was our last night in town. And I always do this. We go away and I always check, oh, do they have an indoor pool?
Oh,
Does the place
yeah,
have a
I didn't see
pool?
any pictures. Said, yeah.
But the thing is, you know, I usually go and then I get lazy or I get tired. I don't want to get wet. I don't want to come out with a wet bathing suit. It's gonna be cold, you know, because even an indoor pool,
Yeah.
it's always like you go in.
Air conditioning too, I think, in a pool, right? An under pool.
Well, you don't want air conditioning. When you come out of a pool, the last thing you want is air conditioning. You want like,
You want it
to come
yeah,
out-
but the other people just sitting around the pool want it.
yeah, exactly. So if you keep it 90 degrees around the pool, you come out of the pool, you're like, yeah, but they don't, they can't.
No.
So no matter where, you're gonna be a little cold, either getting in the pool, and of course, getting in the
Let me
pool.
see if they have an image of it. I don't, you know.
It's a nice, it's a nice looking pool. And what's really cool is when they have blue lights everywhere. It's very sedate. It's
Oh,
very mellow. It's not like a children's cable thing. It's blue lit. And when you splash and you put your little patties in the water, the water turns sort of iridescent blue and the bubbles
Wow.
kind of glow. It's wonderful.
whoa.
So I get into the pool, and the second I go into the pool room and I start divesting, I know I made the right decision. I knew I could have been lazy. I could have just, you know, worked on you know, grading and crap, or stayed in the hotel, watch TV. I knew I had made the right decision
Looking for a picture of the pool.
to go into the pool at the Hilton. And it's not like it was incredibly fancy or anything like that. And it's not a pool for long distance real swimmers, because there's like a giant Doric column in the middle of the pool bisecting it. So you can't really get laps in. I went anyway. I want to do a few laps and I want to turn literally into a potato while I'm in the pool. And this was the perfect place for that. And they kept it, the water, as I'm going in, a lot of the indoor pools, they're fine once you're in them, but the in between, like the
I don't
ankle
have a picture of the pool.
and the
I
neck,
can't.
really?
Yeah.
Because they should advertise that. It's a nice pool.
I'm gonna keep looking while you talk.
But this is one of those pools where you get your foot in, and say, okay, this is a little chilly.
Is it this?
Let me see. Ah,
That's the main, it says.
it might be. It might be.
This is the pool.
They like it differently at night. Then it's quite. Let me see if they have.
This is the closest I can find.
Well, thank you. Interesting. Yeah, it probably is. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it bigger. I lost it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen a second. No.
I'll do nighttime. Let me search for nighttime. You keep talking.
Yeah. So one of the nice things about the thing is, and you're going to have a good time when you'll get past the calf and you go past the knees, and everybody can do that in a regular pool, even if it's kind of cold. You get to the knee, something about from your knee down, you don't really worry about it. It actually feels nice if you've been walking all day because your dogs are barking and you want your foot to feel the nice, cool, cold water. But once you get above the knee into the thigh area and the groinal area, you don't want cold. The shrinkage is coming. It's like, and so between the knees and above the nipples, this is when it separates the men from the boys. And the really brave people are the ones who go, okay, up to the knees and now just submerge all at once. How do they do that? The polar bear people. They go knees in and down. And then they acclimate very quickly. Old Dave cannot do this.
I can do.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, yeah. That's it. Take a look.
Was it about, but it's not nighttime. It's best I can do.
But it's got that column that I mentioned in the middle that sort of bisects it. So you've got,
It's
gotta
maybe
be
to
aware
prevent
of it.
people from like going.
yeah. Maybe they pull down the curtains or something, but yeah, because they have at night it turns into a beautiful blue light but this is a pretty nice, as you can
Yeah.
see anyway. So, but this pool is just a bit warmer. Not like a sauna thing, but just a little warmer than your average indoor pool. So I'm going into it and I'm like, oh, I can do this, is all right. I mean, I still have to do the nipple moment. I still have to do it's the groin moment and the nipple moment. That moment when you go from like the lower thighs to the belly. And you're like, I'm trying to do, you take that intake of breath. It's like, is it gonna be cold? Is it gonna be cold? And it's like, but it wasn't bad. And then you have that thing where it's okay, sort of up to the rib cage, and then rib cage to shoulders. It's like the other thing, nipples. And I literally,
Wow.
because there was no one in the room at the time. And then, I literally had the pool to myself. I literally was out loud going, nipples. But it was okay. And I submerged and I went in. And I think I spent an hour and a half in the pool. Little bit of swimming, mostly just paddling around, mostly just, easing back, mostly just like, I'm away, right? I'm away from school, I'm away from the house, I'm away from everything, I'm away from New York, I'm away from Maryland. I'm in a pool, floating, standing, sitting, tapping around in this water and just loving every second. It was a true, that sort of Zen
Yes.
moment. You clear your head. You think about stuff, but you don't really think about stuff. You just are in the moment, enjoying your body, but outside your body because you don't have the weight weighing you down. It was absolutely fantastic. I sang a little because no one was there.
Interesting. Did they have music?
No, thank God. I didn't want music. I wanted quiet. And they had, so all day, and I made sure no one was there. But our driver on the way to Norfolk, when we're thinking about what rest stops to go to, he kept talking about a place called what? I've got to mention, I've got a fast food place called Bojangles. Like I have never been in, right? I think I've heard of it. I've seen the signage, but it's one of these fast food places like Arby's and Hardee's and Bob's Big Boys or whatever, Bojangles. And we're thinking, oh, maybe we'll pass a Bojangles, because he talked about like nuggets and chicken things. I'm like, well, sounds decent. We didn't actually get to stop at a Bojangles. But this put into my mind a song that I've been working on that I never finished writing, a parody song over the years.
Oh, no.
Called Mr. Pooh Dangles. It's all about a man, and we've all been in this situation, when you're in the bathroom and you've been constipated and you're kind of letting, and it's sort of half in, half out. And then I thought about a song, what about a man who's kind of, he's in that situation, he can't get it all out, but it's too late to go back in. So he's Mr. Pooh Dangles. And I started making up the lyrics, and I always make up new ones. And I'm literally in the pool
You made that lyric.
by myself, singing out loud, Mr. Pooh Dangles, squeeze. And thank God nobody came in at that moment. I knew a man Pooh Dangles and he crapped a lot, or whatever it was going through my Mr. Pooh Dangles. Because we even heard, you know what was funny? The last week, the week before, when we went shopping in our usual Sunday excursion.
We're gonna go,
They-
we have to go today to get foodies.
Yeah, well, they played Mr. Bojangles
Yeah.
in the outdoor mall part. They played Bojangles, so it was there. And so how can I not have Mr. Pooh Dangles in my head?
Okay, Weird Al.
He couldn't let go. It was- Yeah, so this is what Dave does when he's alone in a hotel swimming pool in the Hilton.
Wow.
Yeah, Paris Hilton, lived for our sins, so I could do this. But that was maybe my favorite moment of the whole trip, of just being like in a pool, swimming, submerged, and singing Mr. Pooh Dangles. Now I have to, so I've given this away. Someone else will write and finish the song. Now I have to do
I
it.
don't think so.
I was like, what? I don't even remember the lyrics. I was spouting off. It was kind
You gonna write it down in the water?
yeah. He tried and he tried, then he cried, and he fell on his knees. Mr. Pooh Dangles, squeeze. I feel bad for the guy. Yeah, that's me. I'm Dave Lefkowitz, founder and creator of this show, Dave's Gone By, which you've been watching at your peril for the past 20-something years. We are here every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts on this Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. You can also find our archives at davesgoneby.com, our archives on the Dave's Gone By section of archive.org, our archives at castbox.fm, that's audio only. We also have a YouTube page, Dave's Gone By. Lots of ways to reconnect, to watch, like if you want to tell people about the fun interview that Rabbi Saul had with the folks who were descendants of the guy who created Or Ida and the Tater Tot. It'll be up in our archives in a day or so, along with interviews with tons of some famous people, some not so famous people, all our shows. Just go to davesgoneby.com. They're all there. And by the way, I want to remind you can find my writing at davelefkowitz.org, davelefkowitz.org. If you want to read my plays, my song lyrics, news items I used to write for places like Playbill and Stage Buddy, interviews I've done for Long Island Woman, my monthly theater column for Long Island Pulse, just dozens and dozens and dozens of my writings throughout the years. Check it out, davelefkowitz.org. And I keep trying to add to it all the time. Anyway, it is 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, here in the Daverhood. We still have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned to do on the show.
Any
But
Greeley crime small times.
yes, we do.
And then we'll go have lunches and get
Yes.
Foodies?
Yes, we got a shop. We just got back last night. So got a lot to do here. And I've got grading to do. Joyce has grading to do. We got stuff, we're back. It's funny, the first song that we heard when we went to the pier to watch that sundown thing, the first that this 1980s band played, Wonderland, if they were called that, was the last song you kind of want to hear on a vacation, Back on the Chain Gang. It's also about, a friend who dies, and then you have to get back to work, you have to get back to all the things you're slaving on.
In the real world.
Do they play, is that the one you said? Yeah. But I mean, I'm also Back on the Chain Gang. Like, we're getting away from the chain gang.
That was there, so don't tell me, I don't know it.
It's a great song. It's the legacy song of the Pretenders, but it's I believe it's about losing someone and then also just having to get back and to the life as you know it, because what else can you do? So.
I found a picture of you.
I don't know if that person dies or anything. Maybe it's just out of the life.
Circumstance be under control. Got in the house like a pigeon from hell.
That's a terrible line, but yeah. Chrissy, she's a great rocker. Not the best lyricist, fair enough, but she's honest. She's memorable sometimes.
It doesn't really give a lot of.
It's a little cryptic,
That the person's gone,
Right.
Back on the chain gang meaning.
That's the sound of the Chrissy working on the chain.
She wrote it as a memorial to Honeyman Scott.
Oh, well, one of the band members who died. Drugs, I
It
believe.
says the song was written during the strained relationship that Chrissy Hine had with Ray Davis of the Kinks and was recorded about 3 months after she was pregnant with their daughter. They had an on again, off again relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they.
But it was dedicated to the late band member, James Honeyman Scott.
Yeah.
So, and then she had to go back on tour. And she had a baby, and then she had to write songs and make albums and be back on the chain gang, if you will. And we all, we get our vacation, we go to Disney World, we go to Disneyland, we go on a plane somewhere, and then we're back on the chain gang.
We worked in mines. We're not in the mines.
You were back in the mine gang.
Yeah, we're just teaching. We're not,
Yeah, but it's demanding, it's work, it's draining. It's, sometimes I had a wonderful classes last time. Yeah. No, but some days I get out of class and like nobody's done the readings and I just want to be like, why do I bother? And then the next time I'll come in and I'll have a great discussion and we'll have fun. And then I'll be like, yay, I love teaching. This is the best job ever. And or it would be if you paid me a reasonable wage. So, but anyway, it's 11:03. Joyce and I used to live in northern Colorado, in a wonderful town called Greeley, Colorado, and lived there for about 13 years. And while we were there, the local newspaper that we would get was the Greeley Tribune. Real actual newspaper, the Greeley Tribune, with all the ways that a tree, an evil tree can kill you. But no, this is a real paper with real news, but also a sense of humor. And every week they've had a column, 2 columns in there that are intentionally cute and funny. And I'm not talking like a columnist like Art Buchwald writing funny, although they have that, we call the Greeley Trombone by Mike Peters. But Mike Peters does another column there where he goes through the newspapers from 1923 and plucks out things that to our modern eyes are silly and kooky and crazy and so forth. Let me get this off because it's starting to distract me and get on my eyes. We're still on the air, folks. Well, let's just take that away. I wanted to get that sign off.
Yeah. Sure.
So he finds these things from the paper in 1923, takes them and puts them in a column in 2023 for people to enjoy. Along with that, there's another column in the paper called Cop Log. And if you've been following the show the past few months, we had a terrible crisis with Cop Log in that they stopped publishing it for about 4 months in the paper. Tragic. Said that was great. Tragic and sad. And I was back and forth with the woman who puts that together, Morgan McKenzie. at the trip. And she said, oh, it's coming back. We're having issues with how we get the information from the police department. I translate it into this column, but the column is coming. And she was right. It has come. There have been 2 new columns in the past couple of weeks, not one this week yet. So I'm not going to get worried yet. And we have a backlog. I've been compiling them. So we have Coplog and 100 years ago. We mix those 2 up to create our weekly segment on the show called Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Greeley Crimes and Old Times, ladies and gentlemen. So some of these are from 100 years ago. Some of these were from a week or 2 ago, happening in northern Colorado, and either coming from the police blogger of calls that came into police dispatch, or from the newspapers 100 years ago. Are you ready, babe? Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. This happened on February 20th. So they were a little backlogged. At a fast food restaurant on 47th Avenue, I don't think it was Bojangles, but it's a fast food restaurant on 47th Avenue. Yeah. A man was outside the store with a knife near the drive-through menu board.
Why?
Well, it is a food place, has a knife. Well, except the witness said he was scratching cars with it.
Oh, I don't have any car.
I mean, if he's that hungry, you figure he'd go into the restaurant instead of trying to eat a Buick. But
maybe he's low in iron.
And speaking of knives, a woman brought a kitchen knife into a convenience store on 11th Avenue.
Yeah.
What do you think she did?
She cut food.
No.
She cut a lottery ticket.
No.
She made some coffee and stirred.
No.
She cut a pizza.
These are all good things, but no.
She cut a hot dog. I don't know what they have in a convenience.
Well, that's the thing. They have one more thing in the convenience store. Her. She was in the store trying to sell the knife for cash.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You gotta be industrious.
And of course, if you don't buy it, yeah.
I mean, it's not a pawn shop, but she's trying. Gotta make a living.
Gotta give her props. A caller. Remember the callers? We have a caller.
Oh, wait.
Here we are. Hello. A caller at a park on 50th Avenue reported kids messing around with what do you find at a park sometimes?
A grizzly bear.
Oh God, no.
A squirrel?
Nope. Not something.
A twig.
Okay.
A twig?
Not a twig.
A tree?
We saw these at the thing when we went to the pier when they had the concerts.
Oh, traffic cone.
No,
What?
but the young kids messing around with a porta potty.
Ew.
I hope they have fun.
I would not want to touch a porta potty without gloves.
What do you mean messing around with?
No.
How do you go in and out of it, knock on it?
Well, they tip it. Sometimes they tip
Oh,
it,
maybe.
but that's disgusting.
Yeah,
Oh, that
I
was
know.
not good.
Well, hey, you know what? It's my party and I'll tip if I want to, tip if I want to. You would tip too if you're making a poo. Anyway.
They give me my phone. You know what they
Oh.
were doing?
No, tell me.
Hold on. You forgot.
We're doing Greeley Crimes and Old
No,
Times,
you forgot
brother.
your fake photo.
Which was this? We took so many photos over the past day or two. Oh yeah!
It's related to your topic.
It's a little hard to see. I'll make it bigger but first I'll show you this. This is on a garbage can in Norfolk, Virginia. Yeah, I'm gonna make this part. There we go. No poop left behind,
Of course not.
which I think is a beautiful and moving
That's
thing.
the military logo of no person left behind, but then because Norfolk is a military town, they
They do no poop
yes.
left behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's what-
Personally, I think that's a shitty slogan. But anyway, that's
Oh.
I was just we How about we give a shit? That would be also. Yeah. A caller wanted to know if a Greeley police officer goes by the nickname the Terminator.
Like they're gonna say that, oh yeah, that's Frank. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
Frank.
yeah.
Oh, maybe that's, no, that's Teresa. Teresa's name. It's not true. Do you think they're gonna give out like, that's so weird. Okay, go ahead.
No, please.
I'm just
Yeah.
confused, yeah, that's
Yeah,
all.
I know my nickname in high school was the Sperminator. A caller on 16th Street said he saw a woman walking in the middle of the street with a pacifier in her mouth
Yeah,
and carrying a bottle.
you know, sometimes you want a little, you're hungry, I mean, you know.
I heard she was a babe.
Let me know if I'm gonna hit my head on the thing.
Okay, yeah. I volunteered to spank her, but I didn't go. Anyway, let's do some old timey things. These are things that were in the newspaper back in 1923 in what was then called the Greeley Tribune Republican in northern Colorado. Thank you to our friend Mike Peters for compiling these and putting these in the paper. The National American Homes Bureau announced the results of a countrywide poll this week. Countrywide, not countywide, countrywide. The poll showed, and if you've ever been polled, you know how painful that can be. It showed that women love cosmetics, movies, cigarettes, and motor cars.
Is it an ad for motor cars?
More than they love what?
Men,
Or
children?
babies.
Oh,
They said this could lead to a national catastrophe.
demographic crisis.
Yeah, because we don't have enough people in the world. It's like, I know,
Yeah,
yeah.
was it sponsored by Philip Morris? Who was it?
Wait, Bill Mars, Henry Ford, Paramount Pictures, and L'Oreal. Like
I
I
love the motor cars, you know.
back then, yeah. Remember, I mentioned this before, but remember when we started doing this segment like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, and it was the teens, and it was still like motor cars versus horses, and they were autos.
It was the challenge of getting the motor cars, yeah.
And now they're so ubiquitous. There's just people with cars.
Cars, motor cars.
I love that slow inching up of history moving forward.
Technology or change of, yeah.
It's kind of like the timeline that the potato guys were talking about, where they have this thing of like the Ore-Ida timeline
Yes.
of this happened, and above the Ore-Ida timeline of like Ore-Ida opens its first plant here, and Ore-Ida sells this many million potatoes. And meanwhile, it's like John F. Kennedy's shot. It's like Vietnam, happens. RFK, Martin Luther King, like 50 million tater tots roll off the assembly line. And
That's
yeah.
what it is for a company. You have to track your history.
in Denver, Colorado, this is 100 years ago, a grand jury investigating a confidence game that stole large sums of money was stopped
Oh, no.
when the judges found the grand jury members
Yeah.
were having a booze drinking party in the district court grand jury offices. By the way, I think Colorado was all dry back in 1923. So, but even so, it was a booze drinking party in the district court grand jury offices. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And I guess, I don't know what they have
It's
to do
like
is
when people to confiscate stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
What do you do with it? I mean,
And then
you
do you
get
have a
caught. That's
hundred-
like a-
what do you start the trial over? What do they call that? Not a hung jury, but a trial that you have to
I don't know.
disqualify.
But then, what do you say? The evidence was consumed? I mean,
Yeah.
you bring in the officers, oh, no good. Get rid of it.
But this wasn't a prohibition. This was about a confidence game. This was like numbers running and gambling and things. I don't
So
know.
maybe it's not related.
It was a disappointment in Washington, D.C. because of the low turnout of youngsters for the annual Easter egg event,
Oh,
the rollicking egg rollers of the Capitol.
Rollicking?
The
What is
rollicking, a rollicking good
Like
time.
frolic? frolicking?
Well, you can frolic when you rollick.
Okay.
Well, it's like,
And you
oh,
rock when you roll.
yeah, there you go. But the egg rollers of the
I love
Capitol,
that.
but not a lot of people turned up. The extreme cold weather probably kept youngsters and the president and Mrs. Harding.
I don't think you could keep kids away from free candy. Their parents must have had them.
If it's 25-degree weather, are you gonna go rolling around on the ground looking for
went
eggs?
Treating when it was cold. I
Mm.
remember we were wrapped up. It was rough.
But did you get candy on
Yes.
Easter egg hunts, or did you just get
No,
like
I
an
never-
egg?
The only Easter egg hunt they did was in preschool. But I
Right.
don't know, and it was indoors in a preschool.
But like when
And
they do
somebody
these
let the
White House,
hamster loose. That was the big
Oh.
event, yeah.
no, but when they do these White House lawn things,
I think
do
you
you get
eggs.
stuff? You get really?
Get eggs filled with chocolate.
All right, but still, I don't know. I mean, even the president and Mrs. Harding didn't go.
That's sad.
That's how
they
that-
live there.
Yeah, right. You literally looked out the window. It's like, oh, the idiot kids are out, the ones who don't mind frostbite, and they're rooting around for eggs. Well, we'll just watch. You know?
I would have made hot cocoa for the kids.
Hmm. Voting places for Tuesday's election have been announced. I don't know if you knew this, babe. This is back in
This
1923.
Tuesday? Oh, okay.
There will be 12 places, including Army Strong's Garage
Oh, nice.
at 1533 11th Street.
I'm glad that he well, that's what garage probably means
I
a
wonder,
mechanic shop. It
You
doesn't
think?
mean, it doesn't mean a garage. It means a garage. Garage is slang for like
I know,
automobile,
auto body, yeah,
automobile garage.
because it made me so much happier. It was just like, come vote in my garage.
Yeah, guess who's running? Artie.
Already,
And everybody who votes gets the free gin in the tub, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of elections,
Your
this,
shirt looks very nice, honey. It's like a
Thank-
summer flannel.
it feels wondrous. I went to wear something earthy for the potato thing, and it's like, thank you for that. The Sunday movie plank election is on the boards, is on the polls, just so you know. I hope you will vote in this.
Me,
What do you
okay.
think the Sunday movie plank election is about?
I have no idea. I don't even understand. Are they voting for movies? I don't know.
The vote, if you say yes, would make it legal to show movies on Sundays. Wow, wow.
I guess that's how Netflix got into it.
Yes. All right, let's do it elsewhere. Let's go away from 100 years ago, even away from northern Colorado, for a story that's weird, goofy things in the news that from far away, not that far. Palm Beach, Florida
Okay.
is where our elsewhere story comes for this week. There's a story that was on Yahoo. Okay. Beware who your enemies of your friends are, or however this goes.
Yeah.
Christopher Key
Yeah.
is one of these anti-vax people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, this
he's
is
a-
modern. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, oh, sorry. This is elsewhere. This happened last week.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Anti-vaccine leader Christopher Key has long sought to conform. Sorry.
I thought it was-
Oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to- Got it. Got it. Joyce is doing a thing. So let me remind you, by the way, it's about 11:15 in the morning Eastern time here in the Daverhood, and you're watching the 890th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. We're calling this one Just Plain Folk because we're in not so plain Norfolk, Virginia earlier in the week. And so, yeah, we appreciate your letters, your messages on our Facebook page, as well as emailing davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. We also have a Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2, Radio Dave and the number 2, and we have an Instagram page, Dave's Gone By. So check them all out. And then do feel free to contact us. You can post your messages, as I said, on Facebook, or if you are a friend on Facebook, or even if you're not, I think you can just sort of message me. I read everything. I try to respond as much as I can. Sometimes I just don't have the time or energy, but I definitely appreciate everything everybody writes in, or even the thumbs up, or the likes, or the happy little emojis and icons that you guys send. It really keeps me connected, knowing that you guys are connected to Dave's Gone By every week here in the Daverhood. So I was telling you, we were in the middle of doing Greeley Crimes and Old Times, where in this particular case, we have it elsewhere. This is not from Colorado. This is from Florida. So Christopher Key is this guy, you never heard of him until this, who is an anti-vaccine leader. Is one of these, COVID vaccines are evil, blah, blah, blah. And he wants to confront one specific, and this is his word, idiot. And the idiot is not Biden, and it's not Fauci. He wants to confront former President Donald Trump. I will read that again. Christopher Key wanted to confront former President Donald Trump over the rollout and making people do and have the whole vaccine thing for COVID. And Christopher Key almost got his wish. See, Christopher Key holds a deep grudge against the former president for, as he put it, quote, releasing a bioweapon onto the world. That bioweapon is the COVID-19 vaccine, which some estimates say has saved millions of lives. This is obviously a Yahoo left-wing story, but that hasn't stopped Key from believing the vaccine is harmful. There's more. In fact, to counteract the vaccine's ill effects, Christopher Key drinks his own urine. The strategy, known on the far right as looping,
Because you're looping the liquid through.
is supposed to cure COVID symptoms. Key has long urged his supporters to collect their morning urine
Please.
and drink
We
it
have to eat lunch
all
later.
day long.
We have to eat lunch.
Good.
I think that's what your soda's made out of.
Oh, yeah, I can show this. I'm not a juggalo. I've always heard about this brand. I've never tried it, but I was on a long walk in sunny Virginia one morning, and I found the gas station, and they actually sold Faygo. This is the brand. This is the Juggalo brand, Faygo. And I can't resist cream soda. I love cream. So, I refilled this just with water this morning, but and it wasn't bad. It was okay. It was not the best cream soda in the world. And it's got, friggin', look at the calories on this. There's like 140 calories per 12-ounce serving size. Not so much more than Snapple stuff. It's fine. Anyway, so we get back to Christopher Key. Key counts among his foes, former President Trump, Democratic state governors he seeks to place under citizen's arrest, and Whole Foods grocery stores. But his great dream is to confront the Donald. So when tickets went on sale for $500 for an evening with Donald Trump Jr. and former congressional candidate Joe Kent in Palm Beach, Florida, he leapt at the chance. After all, Donald Trump Jr.'s father often attends these events for a little while. Oh, and by the way, the invitations say open bar and hors d'oeuvres provided.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Yes, so you get a little something for your $500. He did not partake. Oh, I hate to
Did
bring
he
this
bring
up.
his own wee-wee? Oh.
Probably. By the way, did you hear that there's a controversy now about the Met? Do you know what it costs to attend the Met Gala this year?
What, 10,000?
$50,000 to attend the Met.
That's why they
Gala.
keep the museum and the
I know, but
the opera and all the Met related items open.
I don't even want to spend $3 for a hot dog. And then it's like the Met Gala is
You're not
50.
their target audience, honey.
I know.
FYI. You know, like sometimes they say if you need to ask the price, right? So.
Oh, and also, you reminded me, they had in the paper today, Eli Zabar's on the Upper East Side. You like the West Side, but
Yeah, no, I was 106. I lived. way
no, you
far.
were up. I'm talking like, but the East Side Zabar's has a sandwich. It is a cheese and ham sandwich, $29.
Must be good.
Yeah, it's a sandwich. It's less than a Katz's pastrami. For
Okay, honey, focus.
Anyway.
Finish your story.
So here's the Christopher Key thing. So tickets went on sale. He bought a ticket because Donald Trump Jr. is going to be there. Probably Donald will show.
Just try and get an agenda, it seems.
So Key did not partake in the hors d'oeuvres because he's on a liquid fast.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. And he did not even get to confront Donald Jr. because of all the turmoil over Trump's indictment. Jr. just made a brief appearance and skedaddled. Okay.
So what did they pay for?
Well, he did show up,
Oh, okay, I see.
and but all was not lost. He placed a winning bid of $11,000
Mhm.
to have a private dinner with Don Jr. Again, with the hopes that,
Oh, yeah, Papa
Papa
would be
would
there.
drop
but-
by.
Oh,
But here's what happened.
Oh,
The Trump
God.
organization found out that Key drinker Christopher Key was the winner, and they canceled the dinner. You
Why?
can't really blame them because Key is also one of those QAnon folks who claims to be, quote, a sovereign citizen.
They didn't want to serve him pee.
And that's right. He's like, what vintage? And he says he doesn't have to follow laws. For example, when he drives a car, he feels he's not subject to traffic laws because he's not driving, but, quote, traveling in a wagon with wagon wheels, unquote. Yeah. He also wears a badge proclaiming himself the vaccine police. And sometimes he's kind of like our s'mores lady. Every once in a while, he carries around a flamethrower. He just gets better and better the more you read about him, man. So says Christopher Key about the Trumps, quote, I believe that they went and did research, found out who I was. Oh, yeah. And
Security, right?
the last thing they wanted was for me to sit down with Donald Trump Jr. and his father. Still, I'm going to go after both of them about the bioweapon. He knows my stance on adrenochrome, unquote. Unquote. Yeah. Yeah. If I were on a desert island and I couldn't drink the water, I would drink my pee.
Yeah, an
Because-
emergency.
But immersion pee. But I what is this thing? What is this thing with people in the garage who have bottles of their own pee?
I think that's like hoarder thing. I think that's different.
What in your head would say that this could be useful or valuable?
But that's why children have trouble going to the bathroom, especially
Yeah.
making doo-doo, because they don't want to lose they feel it's theirs. Like a lot of kids feel
Yeah.
urine and doo-doo, like they don't want to see it go because they
Me too.
hate it. So I can understand, like, some people save stuff, you know?
It's a sad moment for me when I go to the bathroom in the morning and I look down and I know I'm never going to see that again. I made it.
Yeah, but you take pictures.
It's my child. I do. I wave. I poke at it a little bit, and then I say bye bye poopies, and I wave and it goes. And sometimes I remember to wash my hands. Sometimes. Anyway, we're doing Greeley crimes and old times here on Dave's Gone By. Let's get back to a crime or two, and then we'll move on to the rest of this episode of the show. A caller on 14th Street said, a man came to the door wearing a long coat and possibly no pants underneath. Possibly. He had a few backpacks and a purse.
Oh, no.
He told the caller to dial 911, but the caller wasn't sure why.
Maybe then, because they had a couple backpacks, a person, no pants.
Yeah,
I mean, you need to get pants.
I know. Police can probably bring you a pair of pants if you need them.
Yeah,
Could be.
maybe go to the Goodwill.
And here's one. A caller on 12th Avenue said, oh, these neighbors. The caller said a neighbor shined a laser pointer into a hole in the wall. Oh yeah. There you go.
I know that's what you wanted when you made that whistle.
This picked up electricity and went into the caller's apartment, hurting the caller. Oh, those damn Jewish space lasers.
I told your mom about,
Oh, yeah.
Mom, like, her
Yeah.
friend, I think her friend had some sort of really cognitive break. And she was fine then, she's like, I'm wearing tinfoil in my pants. And I was like, oh no, here we go.
But again, what is it about people specifically with
But
jugs of urine?
electricity,
Tinfoil,
that was electricity, and
Yeah.
then like tinfoil, yeah.
the tinfoil hats, the tinfoil hat brigade. What is it about as opposed to like saran wrap? You know?
Well, maybe Saran Wrap has it too, we just don't hear about that.
Oh, that could be.
It could be
Yeah.
another
If tinfoil isn't fashionable enough, you want to do rag,
It's
maybe.
not,
use-
like summer, I do saran wrap, tinfoil will be hot.
Yeah, that's true. Let's do one more.
Just save it, because we need to have some for next week.
Oh, I know. Maybe I'll do an old timey thing instead. Let me
Let's
see.
do an old time, save the new one. Do
Um,
something about an automobile.
a national, this is from 1923.
Oh, yes, okay.
This is hopeful here. A nationally known minister announced today that because of the new wireless machines, it will soon be possible to what?
Talk to people in another country.
You're on the right track.
See people in another country.
Further.
Fly.
That'd be actually very prescient. I think they were flying already.
Telecommute, like Star Trek thing, I don't know.
Getting there,
I don't know
getting
what
there.
it's called.
This nationally known minister announced today that because of the new wireless machines, it will soon.
Oh, you can fax yourself somewhere.
Well, more than that. You'll soon be able to possibly be able to communicate with the dead.
Ooh, yeah, but that's what these fake psychics are for.
Yeah, right. Who was that? The little gay kid with the, what was his name, with the blonde hair? Oh, and whatever happened to him?
What's his name?
John Edwards or
Oh, let
something?
me look.
Yeah. He was ubiquitous. He was all over the TV.
A lot of talk shows, right? That's how.
And then you have the Long Island Madam Psychic, whatever her name is.
What's his name?
John, wasn't it John Edwards?
I think you're right.
Like,
Here,
did he realize,
TV personality, hold on.
was he psychic enough to realize his career would disappear?
Oh,
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, Long Island breeds them.
he's still working it. It says for the last 3 decades, he's been helping people.
Where's he, in Vegas?
He's on Instagram.
Whoa. I predict, wait, I have a prediction
He was in
coming.
Burbank.
I predict we have a limerick that will be coming up within
Yeah,
the
let's see
next few minutes, or a limerick will be spouting out of my mouth. I feel it. It's not, I can't even explain how it comes to me. It's a feeling, it's a spiritual feeling that there's a disgusting limerick that is going to spout from my lips. But first, we have to end this segment. It's called Greeley Crimes in Old Times here on Dave's Gone By.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
Oh, he was not.
I'm sure that you agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
Thank you, Groucho, here on Dave's Gone By on this Saturday, April 15th. Hope you got your taxes in. You have until 15, 16, sorry, I think until Tuesday to get your taxes done this year. So they give you a little bit of an extra grace period to have them. I think we did ours. I'm hoping we did ours. Our tax guy kind of vanishes. He'll occasionally send an email and then I'll send up follow-up questions. And I'll just kind of assume that everything is okay. And over the years, they have been, so I can't really complain.
Maybe Sean Edwards became the senator.
Oh, different guy, different. But anywho, we have, as I mentioned, or as I threatened, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up in the show. But before we get to that, let's again thank the folks who are on this episode of the show. First of all, thank you to the spiritual, the wonderful, the holy, in the sense that most of his clothing is full of holes, Rabbi Sal Solomon, spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. If you want to know more about Rabbi Sal, his website is shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com. You can read and hear his sermons, his rabbinical reflections there. You can watch his wonderful stage show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Sal Solomon, as it was performed off Broadway a decade or so ago, plus even his television show, 10 absolutely hilarious episodes of Shalom Dammit, Rabbi Sal Solomon's Peace, Love, and Acid Reflux Hour, which is only a half hour, as it appeared on TV. Wow, about 14, 15 years ago now. They're wonderful. And there are links to all of them. They're on YouTube, but the links are at shalomdammit.com. Check it all out at the rabbi's site. And we thank him for doing the interview with Leslie Grigg and Steve Grigg, cousins and descendants of the Grigg brothers who created the tater tot and founded what became Or-Ida. So we thank them very, very much, and find out more. They're getting the website done. They're trying to get the word out about the Grigg family in creating the tot. So check out, it's the Legacy, what is it called? It's Legacy Tater Tot Foundation. Come on, does it get better than that? Oh, it does not. Thank you, thank you. Thank you also to the Grand Knish for making his appearance on this episode of Dave's Gone By. You're most welcome. And
Well, he was ready, I think he was engaged for this interview.
we too. But there's also people who've been on this program over the years. So they weren't on this week, but they were on before. We consider them like friends. We consider them like family. So we do this segment called Friends of the Daverhood to see what they're doing. The Friends of the Daverhood. So for example, if you happen to be free this weekend, you can maybe see some of these people. For example, well, first of all, gotta send out hearty congratulations to winners of the Manhattan Association of Cabarets and Clubs. Their awards were announced on April 4th. Actually, maybe I probably did these all last week. So again, congratulations to Ann Hampton Calloway, Sidney Meyer, Jeff Garner, Ricky Ritzel. Sorry, I said that. Hey, there's wishing them mazel tov again.
We're always happy when they win.
Players only love you when they're
Oh,
playing.
they gotta sing that song too.
Linda Eder is going to be at 54 Below tonight, April 15th. Today, Saturday. So go see her and get your tickets at 54below.com for Linda Eder.
I think it helps when you want to see somebody if you do get tickets, just FYI.
Yeah, you can't just sort of look in the windows. It's not, tomorrow, Andre DeShields is going to be giving a symposium where he'll be a guest at a symposium at the Westport Country Playhouse in Connecticut, and it's free to attend. So Tony winner, our friend of the neighborhood, Andre DeShields out there in Connecticut, go see him. And then on Monday, Penny Fuller and Anita Gillette, both of them friends of the neighborhood, are going to be at Birdland together. Melissa Errico, that same night, she will be getting a concept album award from the 38th Annual Bistro Award. So that's happening on the 17th. And the Bistro Awards are, of course, administered by our friend, Sherry Eaker, former managing editor of Backstage. So, former publisher of Backstage. So yay for Melissa Errico and that award. Yeah, it is, and that's happening, by the way, at the Gotham Comedy Club in Manhattan. That is on Monday night. So do check that out, get your tickets. What else? Starting on Tuesday and running through mid-May, you can see Christian Knoll in the comedy God of Carnage. It's being done by the TBTB Theater on Theater Row in Midtown Manhattan on the west side. Starting on Wednesday, it would be, and running through mid-May, you can see Karen Ziemba. You don't want to do this. Karen Ziemba is doing Murder on the Orient Express. She's in the cast there at the Paper Mill Playhouse. And it's an adaptation of the Agatha Christie.
Spoiler alert, they all do it.
You know. Oh, thanks. And the playwright who did the adaptation.
An adaptation, so
Yeah.
maybe nobody does it.
Well, the adaptation is by our friend Ken Ludwig, who was on the show last year. So yeah, we get a double bagger on that one. Karen Ziemba and Ken Ludwig. See Murder on the Orient Express running from mid-month April to mid-month May. Charles Bush. I'm assuming he's well enough to do that. You know, he had that heart surgery stuff, but he's back in form. And on April 20th, he will be doing a cabaret show called My Foolish Heart. And a play on words there.
No, that's not Ron Best, what's his name? The guy I listened to.
Hank
Krishna
Williams?
Das.
Who?
My
Oh.
Foolish Heart is a Krishna Das album.
Oh, right, that's right. I don't know if he knows about that. But this is Charles Bush, who is a celebrated playwright and female impersonator. He will be at 54 below. That is happening on the 20th. I'm guessing that's Thursday. And then Austin Pendleton, we have Austin Pendleton alert.
When do we know? When do we know?
I know. Austin Pendleton, the ubiquitous, what is he doing? He's directing something, right? He's directing a play called A Seance with Mom that's being done at the Chain Studio on West 36th Street. That's happening only for 4 days. It's just for the weekend, from April 20th through the 23rd. On April 21st, I'm betting that's Friday. Let's see. Today's the 15th, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Yeah, Friday, April 21st, Neil Berg is going to be at the Weinberg Center in Frederick, Maryland. So not so far from us, doing the 60s. So you're going to want to check that out. And check, if I could play guitar, I would go to it. No, not right now. I mean, if I could play guitar,
Oh, okay.
I would go to the Songwriters Retreat in West Jefferson, North Carolina, because one of the teachers there, one of the people who's going to be is Tom Paxton. He's going to teach
wow.
songwriting, like our second most legendary
Yeah.
living folk songwriter,
Sold out.
Tom Paxton, teaching songwriter
That's probably sold
in
out.
North Carolina. Man, I would just, just to hear his wisdom would be amazing. Playing now through April 22nd, David Kirschenbaum's score for the musical Vanities that he co-wrote with Jack Hefner. You can watch Vanities at the York Theater at St. Jean's up on the middle Upper East Side. Yeah. Oh, completely. Yeah, and the woman that you love there, Karen Finley, is doing her latest piece, which is called
I dated a yam.
COVID Vortex Anxiety Opera Kitty Kaleidoscope Disco. She's doing this at the Laurie Beachman Theater now through May 6th. Also, you can take Steve Kaplan's online comedy screenwriting course now through May 6th at kaplancomedy.com. I think there's still time to sign up. Al Tapper and Tony Sportiello have collaborated on a musical that they're doing at the theater that they run, the AMT Theater. The musical is called On the Right Track. So get your tickets for AMT Theater. Tova Feldshuh is in Funny Girl now through September 3rd on Broadway. Seth Beeson Hirsch is doing Seth's Talent Showcase Tuesday nights at Don't Tell Mama. Katie Sullivan, she switched nights. She was playing Friday nights. Now she's playing Tuesday evenings, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Algonquin. So if you want to be where Dorothy Parker was, where S.J. Perlman was.
They're all sold out.
Well, it's a piano bar. You can go
You just go.
hear Katie Sullivan sing and play piano at the Algonquin and have a drink and have a little food and have a nosh and decompress after or early in the week, Tuesday evenings at the Algonquin. Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano, they play Saturday evenings at Birdland, birdlandjazz.com for tickets. On Broadway, Hadestown features Lilias White playing Hermes or Hermes. Alan Menken wrote the music for the Broadway musical Aladdin at the New Amsterdam Theater, and he wrote the music for the off-Broadway musical Little Shop of Horrors, which is being revived at the West Side Theater. Dr. Demento still doing Dr. Demento shows, new and old, at drdemento.com. Remember to check out stagebuddy.com, which was founded by my friend Evan Seplow. Let's see, Bob Cudmore, telling stories of upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com. Shout out to Vicky Quaddy and the shows that she does at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago. Shout out to Leslie Hoban Blake, who appears on Two on the Aisle, the theater review show. And shout out to David Sheward, who reviews New York theater for theaterlife.com and culturaldaily.com. And those, my friends, are many, many, but not all of the friends of the Daverhood. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 11:45 Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. We've been doing the 890th edition of Dave's Gone By here with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife, Joyce, and all these guests that we've had. today and over the years. And it's been a delightful time. We've had, of course, the Grand Knish with us and the potato we brought along for the trip. Don't forget, we even bought him since Norfolk, Virginia is the town of mermaids. Potato was feeling like, I want to be mermaid. So we got him, look where we got him. We got him his own very special octa shirt.
Is the mermaid pin we took off it? We have to give him the pin.
Oh, well, okay, you're wearing it backwards, Potato. Hold on.
No, David, it's okay, honey.
Well,
It's
look,
okay.
look, I'm an octofish. Yay. He's very excited, he's very happy. Uh-oh.
You just chucked him off the desk
He's
here.
been having a little too much vodka.
You chucked him off, he's been drinking your drink.
I'm drinking the potato.
You know what time it is?
Yes. It's time for the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, my friends. So as I mentioned early in the show, Joyce and I used to live in northern Colorado, Greeley, and I took it into my head for no good reason to start writing poems about all the different towns and cities and places in Colorado, big to small, like population 10, like a ghost town with an old post office, to the biggest cities there, as long as I could rhyme them. Well, at this point, I'm gone beyond being able easily to rhyme things with other things. Now I've got to fudge the rhymes a little, but I'm still trying, especially in this day when we visited the fudgery this week. I'm fudging big on this particular Colorado Limerick of the Damned, because we're going to a place called Avondale, Colorado, for our Colorado Limerick
I'm looking it up.
of the Damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Oh, Colorado,
There's 588 people.
That's pretty big comparatively.
588.
Yeah, we've had places that have less than 100 people. That is,
It has a post office.
yeah. Anything else?
See what the activities are.
It's in south central Colorado in Pueblo County, by the way, and it has apparently a pretty rural feel.
Oh, it lost a lot of people. In 2010, there were 674.
And now they're down to
And
500.
yeah.
Yeah, and the whole town is like a square mile, half a
There's
square
no
mile.
activities going on.
I know, you can't find anything about Avondale, Colorado. It's a big, maybe it's quiet, it's tiny, they want to keep it that way. Anything about it? Then what you find is stuff about Pueblo County, but not Avondale in particular.
It has a post office that's been in operation since 1892.
Yeah. I have that.
It's
That's all I,
lost 11% of the population since 2020.
I guess during the pandemic, people didn't want to be in Avondale.
Pueblo, yeah, just Pueblo County, that's it.
Yeah, nothing, which is disappointing, which is why I am here. I, Dave Lefkowitz, am here to put Avondale on the map. I mean, it's already on some maps, but on more maps by giving it its own poem. I don't know if anybody's ever written a poem about Avondale before, certainly not Avondale, Colorado. I have written a limerick about it, a Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Avondale. Ahem. A handsome young hoarder from Avondale will buy up whatever stores have on sale. And when he can't pay, he gets put away. Quite often, he's raped by the staff in jail. Yeah. I know, Potato, I know. Send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com, davesgoneby@aol.com, or just message me right here on Facebook with your comments and especially your complaints for poetry like that.
It's got a C- for nightlife.
Not a D? What do they, look at bingo, what do they have? Non-ageist bingo, by the way.
I don't know, it doesn't say. It doesn't, it's a realtor site, just, I don't know, that's very strange. There's nothing about it.
There's literally, it's like those radio stations that used to go off the air when the sun went down. They roll up the carpet and it doesn't exist until like dawn the next morning. It literally disappears, like Brigadoon,
Yes, it's very interesting.
Brigandale, Avondale. Anyway, I'm Avon Dave, and you've been watching the 890th episode of the Dave's Gone By program. I hope you had a good time. Again, watch the archives at davesgoneby.com. Find out more about the show by checking our Facebook page, by going to archive.org also for our archives. As a matter of fact, over the past bunch of weeks, the archives are in higher quality at archive.org than they are even on my own website, because my shitty hosting provider won't let me upload anything higher than like 300 meg. So the videos that are like 3 hours long, I've got to crunch them down to the point where I'm a blur.
Just show them, give the other reference.
But archive.org, they let me upload like a 2.5 gig file. So you get like the best looking, best quality video if you go there. So feel free to go to davesgoneby.com, but also, especially when you watch the whole show. And by the way, our Facebook page automatically saves every show that we do. So for the past 5 years or 6 years that we've been on Facebook, you can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling down. It just takes a while because it takes longer and longer to load. It's not the best way to find an older show, but you can find the last 5 years there on Facebook. There you guys, what page is that? Is that archive?
Yeah.
Look at this, look at this.
Just to give it's just an example. I searched Dave's Gone By without the apostrophe, and that's what came up.
Yeah, so there's my
I just
cousin.
did a broad search,
There's my cousin Adam,
You could
who's on
filter
the
that
show.
anyways, yeah.
And then there's is this so random? There's Ronald Rand, it's
But you could
random.
filter. I don't know how I filtered. Let me see.
And then there's a picture of me with your mom. Was she ever on the show? Oh, I think I went on one of our New Year's shows. She was on for a minute or two, so that would be the video with that. But yeah,
Sort by,
so you can actually go on your telephone. I don't think of the telephone. I really don't, because I use the telephone to make a phone call or
so I
quickly
just
look
did
for
date
something.
published, so you can do, I sorted by the most
Yeah.
recent,
Oh.
yeah.
So most recent, look, we have Pitts Quattrone. He was our didgeridoo
Didgeridoo
man
guy,
last
yeah.
week. So you've got both, and we do this on our website too. You can either just listen to the audio,
Oh,
or we've got the actual video interview there with Rabbi Saul from last week. This is from archive.org. And if you check archive.org by tomorrow morning, if we don't have any technical trouble, you'll see this show there as well. And also the interview that we had with the Grigg cousins from the Orida and Tater Tot legacy.
love it.
So, hon, is there anything we didn't talk about from,
Nothing I can remember.
yeah, we just had a wonderful time getting
That
away.
was lovely.
And now we're back.
This is really nice because you can do it like, you can listen to it on your phone. I'm just looking to
Yeah.
see the, oh, and then it shows you, so the film icon is film and this is audio.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
just audio. This is great.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And you can sort by the most, listen, I'm gonna sort by all-time views, which.
oh yeah, which is for the most? Let's see, probably the Little House on the Prairie Woman, maybe. She's huge on YouTube.
This is doing Grateful Dead. It's doing. It's Grateful Dead. It's searching everything.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
No, yeah. I don't
Grateful
know.
Dead concerts are going to be huge on archive.org. But in terms of Dave's Gone By shows, I know probably our most viewed YouTube interview was with Karen Grassley of Little House on the Prairie, and I think the late Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island. That was a huge one for us
But
too.
then when I did
Yeah.
weekly views, it's a bunch of stuff, but then this, you came up here.
Oh, that's all right. I have no
It
idea.
says,
Yeah.
Dave's Gone By archive, you have 2,525 items.
Yeah.
And you have 700 and almost 9 gigabytes. So you're in there somehow after with the Grateful Dead people.
Well, I'm not dead yet,
Oh,
but
then it
I'm
comes
grateful
up.
for that.
I don't understand how it's.
Neither do I. I don't know these algorithm things,
No,
but I'm
it's
thrilled to
stupid.
come up.
Yeah.
If I'm coming up when people search for the Grateful Dead, that's marketing you can't pay for.
a lot of hits on it. A lot of people are watching different ones. I can't track it.
which is fantastic. If you choose to watch on archive.org or listen on castbox.fm or on my website, Dave Scott, I don't care where you listen. I just want you to listen, enjoy, watch, and share with other people so that they know Dave's Gone By is in our 21st year. We're going strong. We're doing new shows. We expect to be back next Saturday, which would be April, what, 21st or 20? Right,
Today is the, hold on, today is the
22nd.
15th, so 22nd.
The April 22nd, from 9 until noonish or thereabouts, we do expect to have a brand new episode of Dave's Gone By for you. Maybe we'll bring the today, yesterday quiz back next week. That'll be
I'm
cool.
trying to see if I can get it on my phone.
Probably have a guest, but possibly not. That's also the kind of the beauty of the eclecticism.
David, you
On
don't
this
need
show.
to be a member anyway. I'm gonna see if I can do more.
Oh, yeah, I think it should be free and available. It's a not-for-profit, by the way. I know it sounds like I'm doing a
I don't know
commercial
what
for
the
them.
org is,
Well, anybody can have an org,
yeah,
but
I'm gonna just
you know,
search for you. What happens if I search,
PORN. You know.
I'm trying searching your name instead of Dave's Gone By.
It should come up for some things anyway, does it?
Yeah, oh, wait,
Uh-oh.
yes, Spirit of, yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
it should come up like 2,500 times,
My God.
quite literally, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, you wonder what I do all Saturday afternoon. It's like making sure this happens, making sure that if you missed the live version of Dave's Gone By on
Yeah, and when I
Facebook.
do it on my phone, it comes up, I did the most recent.
Yeah, there they are. Cool stuff. Anyway, it's been really cool sharing with you this Saturday morning. I'm gonna take down this 0 because we are finishing the 890.
Wait, let me do it.
I'll pop this on again, so we're going off here, but just for you know, kind of coolness sake, look, I'll make it flicker. Ooh, high-tech special effects, ladies and gentlemen. You've been watching Dave's Gone By with me, my amazing wife Joyce. Especially with your cameo.
No.
Oh, my legs. Make it a great week. Have a most happy spring. I think is Passover over? I don't even know. Happy Passover. Happy post-Easter. Happy spring break if you're just going on spring break now. Be a little late, but and just have a great week. And we hope to see you right back here a week from today. And oh wait, no, I hit the wrong thing. That was dumb.
By there goes the Daverhood.
Not only thanks a lot, but thanks a tot.
Dave's Gone By.
And gone by.